I'm retweeting that on my.
Why would you not retweet? Your name shows up anyway, you son of a bitch. All right, anyway, everyone, welcome to Masculine Geek number 148 on one of the best days of the week, Wednesday, on one of the best shows on the internet, Masculine Geek. This is Nick, yes. This is the Fireside Chats where we just kind of have a random talk and just talk about anything. So, welcome everyone. James, Robert, TJ, and Nick. And Drew will be along shortly. So, how's everybody doing?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Okay. Getting ready for the New Hampshire trip coming up.
What all do you do in the New Hampshire trip, and where do you go?
We are going to can't tell. We won't tell you now live. It's a big secret. Hang on a second. I'm downloading a game. Let me jump in once. All right. So Aaron Clary, right now, I sent him an invite to this soiree that we're having here, and he text messaged me. I'm downloading a game. Let me jump in once it's downloaded. Not once, but once is.
So is game his code for porn?
Probably that game is code for being pegged by the wife.
Okay.
Yeah. So New Hampshire is a reconnaissance mission for somebody, maybe myself, maybe for TJ. We don't know. We're checking out the East Coast as far as Masculine Geek hideouts, as it were, and that will be something that will be released probably another year or two. That's been simmering in the back of my mind as far as property is concerned. So that's all I'm saying for now.
The Masculine Geek undisclosed location.
Exactly. So we'll broadcast from New Hampshire, and then we'll say once we're there.
In other words, a gay bathhouse.
Exactly. So once they change the laws in New Hampshire, TJ and I will be immediately married. Yes.
You could already do that in New Hampshire.
Oh, there we go. Just get married on the mountain.
I spent a lot of time in New Hampshire. That's where the former company I worked for. That's where our headquarters was. So.
Oh, okay, cool. I like the New England area. I spent a lot of time in Providence, as you know. Yep. So we'll be there. We'll be playing Blood Red Skies. We'll be playing. I believe we're setting up next Wednesday as our Rollo DM'd Dungeons and Dragons game. So we'll be playing live from there, and we may maybe doing a few other random broadcasts. We'll see.
So you'll be able to help TJ with his die rolls.
TJ, exactly. Yeah. Be like, no, this is 20-sider.
Yeah. Won't have to be worried about being muted when Rollo asks him. So what do you do?
Exactly. I'll have like we did when we were in Kansas City. We played D&D.
It's a lot easier when you're all in the same room, right?
Exactly. It's basically what you would do when you're in the same room. That will be another soon to be announced by invitation only Masculine Geek adventure / event, probably in the late spring, early summer of 2022. That is Dungeons and Dragons related. It's going to be fairly epic, if I can use that overused word. Kind of lame, but that's the first one that came to mind, is epic, because it will be. So we got some good stuff coming up for 2022. And I am in the middle of chapter 10 of the pulp detective story Laserdicks, featuring Rob, TJ, and myself as the protagonists, running a detective agency sometime in the past / future. And if that doesn't make sense to you, I don't care. In order to find out what I mean, you have to go to Punch Riot Magazine and sign up as a contributor or as a
subscriber.
The gin and tonic is slowly working on me and having its effect as a subscriber, and then you'll understand what I'm fucking talking about. So
it may actually be taking place in the past and future at the same time.
I think so. I think it kind of is.
It kind of is.
Not to give too much away, but it really is. Yeah. Ooh, there we go. I can have that. Jesus Christ. All right, that's it for me. I don't know what you guys have. Anything interesting to report? TJ, how's the house coming?
Coming good. Dealt with a leak today.
And here we have a question from the chat, which is very pertinent. Fuck. Well, Nick, what do you? That's on you.
Well, what I would like to say is,
Here we go. Here it is. Here it is.
if you look at any quality magazine of the 20th century, whether it's Playboy, whether it's National Lampoon, whether it's Esquire, the pub date and the date it's actually in your, fat little hands is always off.
That's a
And
key
very-
word for Americans, fat little hands.
And very often it's off by, a goodly amount of time. And so, in keeping with the tradition of excellence in
I can't believe you're saying
media,
this with a straight face.
in keeping with the principles of excellence in media that America is known for, it comes out when it comes out, when it's ready, when it's in the fullness of time. It comes out when it's ready to come out. And it comes out when I'm ready to deliver it.
So what I'm saying is it's not
comes.
even breathing heavy.
And if
Let
you,
alone coming.
Exactly.
It's not even breathing heavy.
This
and
is
if
bad
you
foreplay, Nick. This is
fuckers-
very bad foreplay.
if you fuckers don't like it, then unsubscribe.
No, don't say that.
I don't care.
Yeah, you do. You
I'm
love
not
us.
I'm not making any money off of this.
You're probably losing money on this.
Can we get Sterling to maybe dirty talk it into
I'm-
submission and get it to come sooner?
Nick, you can now go on and retweet the live Twitter feed tweet to answer your question.
Which will no, but actually it's I've been working on it most of the day today, so it's
Oh, cool.
imminent. It's
All right,
imminent.
nice. Well, then my tweet was timely.
It was.
All right, cool. Great minds, man. Great minds.
Yeah, looking forward to it being released in book form. Not that there's anything wrong with the anthology format at all, but
What, laser
it'll-
dicks?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're gonna love it. I want to do. I'll spend money. I don't care. And I've mentioned this before. I want to get a book cover designer that will do something along the lines of Robert E. McGinnis.
Mm-hmm.
So, have you been reading it?
No.
What the fuck?
Well, now that some cash has been freed up, I might get the sub on that. But actually, I've been buying some other things, including some books published by some people here.
Nice.
So,
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just don't worry about Punch Right. It doesn't come out regularly anyway, so I won't worry. Just wait for my wait. I'll give it some time after Punch Riot finishes chapter 10 in the final installment, and then I will go ahead and publish it out. We'll see about the thickness of it.
mm-hmm.
There's jokes there, I know. Go ahead with your jokes.
Mhm.
We'll see about the thickness of it. I would like to do a hardcover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, have you
But-
got any thoughts to the further adventures thereof? Because I know you'd mentioned that you'd had some things
absolutely.
ruminating, but
Absolutely. So the premise behind it too is there's an ancient evil that runs throughout the world, and they're using Slope, the Chinese Communist Party, using the Slopes as their patsy boys. So
Isn't the evil mastermind some dude that goes around flipping everybody off? Is that?
Well, no,
Am I right about that?
that's the fruit. That is the fruit that owns the Manosphere gay nightclub. And
I just thought he would turn out to be the mastermind.
It's possible. There'll be some tomfoolery at that nightclub with,
All right.
Aaron's character. Yes,
Right.
that was very briefly, I think, in chapter 7 or 8. However, the Laserdix lads, TJ, Rob, and I will be venturing into Europe next book. We'll be going overseas for our next adventure.
Oh, very good.
We're also working with a librettist and a composer to turn this into a Broadway musical.
Laserdix, the Broadway musical. I think it has merit. It has merit.
And Laser Dicks on Ice. Don't forget that. I think that was the best. That's the best
Dicks on
franchise.
Dicks on Ice.
With laser lights, no less.
Laser light, like Dicks on Ice. TJ, I'm not speaking of lights. I'm not digging the lighting in your room. There's something that's like, it's bad. What is that fucking spotlight? That's a little better. There's something about that room that's very cold.
Well, what do you mean?
I think it's TJ's heart.
No, TJ's a big teddy bear.
Yeah.
The room is cold, as in the lighting is very. It's not warm. Yeah, it's cold. What?
I got a fan going up above.
That has nothing to do with the fan. The lighting.
Okay.
I can't feel the temperature in the room, TJ. I'm talking about the ambiance being warm.
I will return in a second. I will.
All right, go get your lamps and shit. You have to have fuck.
And now you've done it. You pissed off TJ.
It's very difficult to piss TJ off too. So I view that as a positive accomplishment.
Cheers.
Indeed. Let's raise up the glass. Yes. Did James Earth to James? What the fuck happened? He was on the pre-show, and now that we're live, he's just incognito.
I just hoping someone got a screen capture of the look on TJ's face before he left, because that was totally
disgust.
Oh, that was totally get your ass to your room. I'm done with you. And that was like that look a child gives you when they're like mad at daddy.
Right, I know, right?
Storming out.
Robert's got that kind of David J. West looking kind of thing going there, right? Intense library and whatever else.
Books and sundry.
Yeah, looks like David J. West's place.
No, I've never been there, so I couldn't say. But no, this is just my office.
Well, I've seen his on live streams before, and I think he's got more bookshelves, but maybe it's just because we can see more of his room. But
yeah, the bookshelves go all the way around.
That's right. Yeah, I was thinking that.
But
much better, TJ. There you go. Let's see. See what else we get in here.
He's got that Blair Witch Project vibe going now.
I'd like to apologize to everyone.
The Legend of the Beast goes back a long time.
That's right.
Ghost Stories with TJ.
Where the fuck is?
I'm gonna get another one.
All of his stories begin the same way. When I first met Aaron Clary.
There you go.
And then I woke up and I didn't know where I was.
But my hand was formed like
perpetually.
This.
Right.
And it smelled bad.
It usually does when you've got jammed up your ass. Aaron, as soon as Aaron's done being pegged, he'll be here shortly.
The shade is flying.
That's right.
The night of shade.
There is nothing that I will not say behind Aaron's back that will not say to his face. And as any man should do, no man should be pulling feminine behaviors. So
well, I mean, the thing is that I like Aaron. I've just made fun of everybody else.
Exactly.
It's no fun picking on TJ anymore.
Nah, leave TJ alone. We gotta get Modern Life John back on the show again.
Hey, what's he up to these days? I haven't seen much of him.
I don't know. He posts some stuff on his Instagram accounts, which I follow, but I haven't talked to him. I was on a phone call with him about a month ago. We were talking some stuff, but I haven't talked to him since.
Didn't you guys hang out in Philly last year?
We did. I took he and James to the pub, which is actually less of a pub and more of a 1970s medieval common room, if that makes sense.
Gay bar.
Yeah, pretty much. With great steaks, fucking fantastic steaks. You walk inside the huge oak doors. You walk inside, and it's like completely transported. And TJ was there.
Mm-hmm.
I took Rob and TJ there, and James when they're here for the Village by the Sea. You're transported back into the 70s. They haven't changed the decor since they opened the place up. It's a time machine. A veritable time machine. What the fuck you doing over there, TJ?
Bought this cheap lantern. It won't close properly. So. Oh.
That's never good.
I feel sorry for everybody in the chat.
I do live. Oh, yeah, I do live 50 yards from a train crossing. So you guys were talking about Karen Clary, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's one way of putting it. Yeah.
I think we're just trying to keep the show from sucking.
That's too late for that. It's just it's long. Yeah.
I could take my shirt off, read poetry. I mean,
Yeah, we're gonna get banned for that, so don't do that. As much as we might like to see your nipples, Nick, we're gonna get banned. Yeah.
they're kind of hard right now. It's cold here.
I'm gonna say,
There you
wasn't
go.
that a problem one of the last
Goodbye,
times
goodbye.
John was on?
Oh
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Nipplegate.
Yeah. So have any of you guys been interested or have gone to see the new Ghostbusters movie yet?
Nope. I heard it was
Nope.
sort of okay, but I haven't seen it yet. I actually, I saw the previews for the Kingsman that comes out December 22nd. I'm thinking about seeing that.
Yeah.
That looks good. That
Yeah,
looks like it's in the
interesting.
spirit of the first one, because I thought the second Kingsman sucked donkey dicks, but
I didn't see the second one, but I saw the first one. The first one, I agree with you, was very good.
second one was not worth seeing. The first one was like everything that you loved about the old James Bond movies, but updated and in a different story. But it was that same kind of, it was better than like the Roger Moore, kind of campy ones. It kind of picked up that vibe, but did it a whole lot better. It was really good. Really liked it.
This cheap stuff is such crap. This thing is 100 years old. It's a French 1917 trench lamp. This thing right here, I bought just yesterday at a grocery store, and this thing is falling apart.
That's never good.
No.
420 Cafe topic. This is just random, the Fireside chats. I will say this. I just posted a picture of the Lemat, Lemat. It was designed by a French weaponeer prior to this our Civil War. It was a powder and cap revolver that had a 20 gauge, basically a 20 gauge shotgun shell firing mechanism underneath. So you could, it was a 6-shooter, and then there was one shot of a basically bird shot underneath. So you had, a 6-shooter and a shotgun all in one, called the Lemat. I first came across this in the Rifleman magazine a few years ago. I always kept it in the back of my head to use in a story probably with Tesla and Malone. That would probably work well there. But even laser dicks might be kind of cool. We'll see. But I don't know if anyone makes a reproduction model of that. Uberte, the Italian company, might. I purchased a Colt Dragoon Model 3 black powder revolver, working black powder revolver. There was a replica of that Civil War pistol that was given out to the cavalry. And also you could attach the folding stock to it and use it as a carbine. But that's fun to load and shoot. I like black powder pistols.
And speaking of pistols,
I was just say, speaking of pistols, this black powder pistol.
Always got one nearby.
As well, you should.
If it's not in arm's reach when you need it, doesn't do you any good.
It's worthless, exactly.
Yep, and you never know. You never know.
So how's everything with you? How's Florida been?
Better than most of the rest of the world.
I was about to say, yeah, you got DeSantis is really kicking ass lately.
Yeah, we need about 50 more like him, one in every state.
Totally agree.
I should say 49 more like him.
Well, 49, yeah. The others, some of the state, yeah.
Although probably 50, because if he wins the presidential election in 2024, then we're going to need a new governor.
Do you think he's going to run?
I would be surprised if he didn't. But I'd hate to have him go, though. He's been great as governor. We would be absolutely fucked here if we got that piece of shit Andrew Gillum as governor floor instead. It would have been just an absolute fucking disaster. This whole last 2 years would have been as bad as California, or maybe not that bad, but like California or New York or some of these other places where they have these Illinois absurd restrictions. It's just we talked about this before. It's like something out of a bad dystopian sci-fi novel.
Right. Although it's interesting, in Illinois, you have all the nonsense there, but in Chicago, that's where it's actually enforced. If you're in downstate Illinois, it varies from business to business or place to place. I mean, you can still drive along I-70 and see Trump flags flying in cornfields all along the I-70 corridor.
And that's the interesting thing about this is this has come up in conversation. I think we might have talked about it before, come up in conversation with different people in different places. There is no such thing as a blue state. There are blue counties that have very densely populated cities that are able to dominate the voting in the rest of the state as a result. But if you look at the county by county map, most of the blue states have all of it concentrated in just a few very densely populated counties, and a lot of the rest is red. And somebody was talking earlier, tongue in cheek, about secession and about, how, just let the blue states secede. Somebody made a joke about if Roe versus Wade was overturned, the blue states should all secede. And somebody else had brought up, well, they're not going to. You're going to have these blue counties in these blue states that are going to want to secede. And then all the red counties are going to say, fuck you, and form their own state. Or actually, I think it might have been last year or maybe earlier this year, I remember reading about a bunch of counties in maybe Washington and Oregon wanting to leave Washington and Oregon and join up with Idaho, which I think would be great. I think counties should be able to do that if they want. If a county votes that they no longer want to be part of a particular state, they should be able to tell the state to go fuck itself and either become their own state or join up with a different state. I'm sure there would be some, it would probably be a messy process, but if they want to, they ought to be able to do that. I would love to see that happen in places like California and Oregon, New York. Illinois, because again, Illinois is a great example. I've got friends in Illinois, and they say that most of the state is not like that. Yeah, it's unlikely. It's highly unlikely.
The world's too our nation's too cosmopolitan. It's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly,
I'm with you, but it's not going to happen.
We just have to lay siege to those cities, block off all of their food and water until they're empty, and then have sane people move in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not saying that they can't like legal as a precedent legally they can, but is it going to happen in reality? No, absolutely not. No,
which is nice to think about. I just love the idea of just completely depriving those counties of all the tax revenue of all of the other counties. Just
I know, right?
Starve them. That's the
starve
best
them out.
solution.
No, I'm with you.
Won't happen, but would be nice. Yeah. Again, they did try. There was a couple counties. I think it was, well, obviously it's been a while. Nothing's happened yet, but it would be interesting to follow. I hope it happens. I'm not going to hold my breath, but it would be great to see so many of the red counties in Washington and Oregon just break off and become their own state, or join up with Idaho, more likely.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see what that does to the electoral votes for some of those places too.
Yeah.
That would be the best, is cutting them way down. Anyways, what else is going on? What other than all that silly bullshit?
Right. Well, I did see Ghostbusters because my 7-year-old, he loves the original movie, so he really wanted to go see this. So I actually consented to doing so, and did you like it?
Did you like it?
There were parts of it I liked, but I hear a lot of fanboys crowing about how great this movie is, and I just don't see it. And conversely, I hear a lot of the professional critics criticizing it, especially trying to defend that other Ghostbuster movie from 2016.
No,
and the thing is, I don't see what any of the woke people are upset about, because you've still got the little girl as the smartest person in the room. You have another young female character who gets all the smart ass lines, and so the dad is missing from the movie because he just couldn't handle having a daughter that was so smart. So despite having an older boy that he would have bonded with, for basically
it's once again a bumbling idiot father.
Yeah, who's not there because he couldn't handle a smart daughter, so he left. And so you've got the absentee dad who's a flake. You've got the girls being the smartest people in the room and figuring out all the stuff. And so there's nothing there that the woke crowd shouldn't absolutely love about the movie. And it's surprising to me that the fanboys can't see some of this stuff. But there were a few moments where it was almost some sort of balance. And I mean, they did have the one brother figure something out and do something smart.
Did they stick to the Ghostbusters canon?
Yes. Yes, right. They did.
Well, that's something at least.
Yeah, that they did. That's what I mean. There were elements. There is a lot of fan service in the movie, which I have no problem with. It stuck to the canon to a pretty large degree, but it was definitely a movie made in 2019, 2020, 2021, as far as having a certain gynocentric perspective on things.
With every movie, you can't get away from it. Yeah.
But I'm like, if this movie had come out at any other time, I might not have locked on to those things quite as strongly as I did now, because it's just so indicative of everything that Hollywood produces as far as, you know, male characters and dads and so forth.
The you go girl bullshit.
Yeah.
The MPAA needs another rating. They need a W for excessive wokeness to warn people, okay, this movie was written by a bunch of fucking idiots and don't waste your time. Or it was written by women. It doesn't make any sense. Don't bother watching.
Yeah. Now, you know, I won't say this was like the most woke movie ever. It's certainly not going to be, it's certainly not as bad as what they did to Wheel of Time. And I'm not even sure if I would say it's as bad as what they did with Dune. But, I mean, it's obviously woke. The girl, you know, it's go girl. But I mean, there are some decent male characters in it, but they're, you know, riding shotgun or sidekicks or in the back seat. So like I said, you know, had this been an anomaly movie, as opposed, it's only an anomaly in that it is not as woke as it could have been, which is probably the only thing the critics are upset about. They wish it was more woke, but there's plenty of, you know, gynocentric girl power elements to it that they should be happy with.
So they're criticizing it for not being woke enough.
Well, they're criticizing it because it appeals too much to the fans in any way, shape, or form.
That makes no sense.
Well, that's because Hollywood and the movie industry is not supposed to. Why the hell would you make a Star Wars movie that appeals to Star Wars fans when you can make it appeal to e-thoughts on Twitter that are never going to see a Star Wars movie to begin with? And speaking of e-thoughts,
look at this big faggot right here. This big fag. Did you see the Star Wars movie, Aaron?
No, the last Star Wars I saw was.
Sorry, I misspoke. I'm slightly tipsy. I'm buzzed. Ghostbusters.
What, the
new
female Ghostbusters?
No, the one that just came out this year.
The one just came out
a couple weeks ago.
Oh, with the cripple?
With the cripple. Yes,
the kid crippled, and it was like okay, we played with women's vaginas. Now we're going to go after the handicapped kids. Like it wasn't for no, seriously. I mean, deadly serious. That's the political group they went after, right? I didn't even know it came out.
It did like a couple weeks ago.
Okay, did it like bomb? Because I heard nothing of it coming out.
It did moderately well.
This is actually the first that I've heard of it.
It did moderately. It didn't do bad. It didn't do good. It was midway. And Robert saw it.
Oh, was it?
He said it. Well, I'll let Robert talk, but he basically said
parts of it were good. It had the potential to be good. It definitely had some moments that harken back to the other movies, but it definitely is a movie made where, you know, the girls are the heroes, the guys are at best sidekicks, you know, so it's still very much a movie of this day and time. So
okay.
But it's not nearly as bad as the Ghostbusters movie with the 4 women who have never been funny, I don't think, in their lives. So I mean,
I got paid to see that one. So
okay. Nick, did you just pour water into your glass from a gallon jug of water?
He's been doing that all night.
I don't think that's water. I think that's vodka.
I would hope so.
Vodka. It's vodka.
Around here, we put other shit in jugs.
Do you? I don't want to know.
This is the woods, man.
That's true. You fucking banjo playing motherfuckers. It's a hard yeet twang coming live.
Don't let them revenuers know about it. He's got that old still playing back.
And he's smoking a pipe to boot.
Yeehaw.
Yo.
Hey, who's that guy that looks like a skinny version of Fat James?
That's James.
Is that James?
That's also Fat James.
Fat James, is that what you call him? Fat James?
The narrator, formerly known as Fat James.
Formerly known as Fat James.
Fat James. Oh, that's a good singer name. So what have you been up to, Aaron? Were you just traveling recently?
I was South Dakota. I'm sorry, I was in Vegas about 3 weeks ago. Putting the finishing touches on the houses. I sent you guys those pictures of the
I saw that
pinups in the garage. Yep. So that's on vinyl, so it keeps the sun out, and they'll stay forever pretty much as long as I treat them correctly. No, I've just been a lot of work finally coming down off of all these little projects.
Okay.
I've been barely keeping up with asshole consulting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, it's getting. I mean, I've basically tripled my prices since I started.
Oh shit.
And then some, and then my one-on-ones I boosted to $300 per hour with the 300 minimum. I'm not bragging. It's that busy that I need to jack my prices because I simply can't keep up with the vibe. My voice is going to go too. You know, that's the other thing.
You're going to turn into Fat James, is what you're saying.
What did his voice go?
Well, it has gone before, yeah.
It has gone before. It went for
There's only so many hours, and again, James would know better than any of us doing voiceover stuff. There are only so many hours in a day that you can talk before
it just dies. Yeah.
Well, how do women do it then? I'm like, how the hell do they never shut up?
It's in their blood. It's in their blood. That's just part. That's a feature, not a bug, Aaron. You have to roll with it. You have to roll with it.
I need you to explain women to me. So.
Here's the deal. This is what I've told. This is what I tell all my girls. And I look at them up and down like a piece of meat, and I say, yes, I care about your mouth, your tits, your ass, and your vagina. When you talk, I hear the Charlie Brown adult voice, wah, 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 wah. That's all I hear. I don't care what you talk about. You can talk for a while. You get 30 minutes. You get a maximum of 30 minutes to complain about work. That's all you get.
Wow, that's
a lot.
That's a lot. You're a very kind man.
I'm very generous.
Women should be lining up right now. If that gets out into public, you're going to be like the most sought after man in America.
They are lining up, but after that, they get their ass beat and fucked really hard. So there you go.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think Vince has got more pussy than he knows what to do with.
Almost.
No such thing.
How does Mowgli, like when you have girls come over to your place, how does Mowgli react to them? Does he just kind of?
It's weird. They really are. It's funny. When I was doing when Nick and I and a bunch of the other guys were doing the Marquis de Sade, and I was doing the basically giving a demonstration of beating and flogging and spanking your girl's ass. I had my girl wait out in the living room for the hour or so that we were talking about Marquis de Sade, that Rob and I were giving the lecture, as it were. And the entire time, Mowgli fucking ignored the shit out of her. She's like, she said he just fucking didn't give a shit about me at all. He cares about me. He wants to be in my lap and around
more
me.
Than normal, like, because he wasn't exactly following any of us around when we were there. I mean,
he didn't give a shit about you. He didn't give a shit about you guys either.
Okay.
You're talking about a cat or a dog?
Yeah. Well, no, I will say this. He liked TJ, but TJ was fucking with him to the point that Mowgli was hissing at him. Now, Rob, it was funny to watch. Rob is the cat whisperer. I have a picture of one of the last Village by the Seas that Rob was down. I have a picture of Mowgli in Rob's lap. Mowgli loves Rob. Yeah.
Rob's good with cats.
Rob is good with the pussies, yes.
But they hiss at it, Aaron.
But they hiss at him.
They don't hiss at Aaron. Mowgli came up to Aaron, and Mowgli came up to TJ. But no, TJ was fucking with him. Even Rob was like, TJ, don't do that. TJ didn't care. He's like, fuck this cat. I'm the human. I'll tell you what
I
goes.
don't know, Mowgli's kind of cool. You just leave him be. Let him be his little bachelor cat. And
exactly, he's definitely a bachelor cat. It's perfect for me. So
he's kind of more of a neat bachelor cat, not NEAT, but NEET. He's a lazy fuck. He doesn't work. Just collects kitty welfare or whatever. He gets his free food, free lodging.
He does. And he likes to shit and piss all over the house.
Right. Just like Minneapolis. There we go.
Pretty much. So yes. So TJ.
Are your girls heartbroken at least? I mean, housebroken? Or heartbroken?
I always heartbreak my girls. My girls are housebroken. They have to be, because they have to clean the house and they have to cook for me and they have to serve me. That's a requirement. In fact, I'm writing about this in the next Masculine Geek newsletter about not so much vetting, but what I expect the women that I bring into my life, like certain things there's certain traits that they have to have and I train them and mold them to what I want them to be. I made a tweet not too long ago, a couple months, where you don't find a good girl doesn't just exist. There's no such thing as a
absolutely
good girl.
not correct.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a good girl. You have to make her, train her into a good girl, and I'm very good at doing that. So I take a bow.
Well, my girl is like that, but as we talked about last time, you're more generous with the complaining than I am because I don't let her complain at all.
Well, here's
she
the
has
deal.
to call her girlfriends or her sister for that.
No, it's not complaining. It's just going over her day.
Okay.
It's just talking about random stuff about her day, and work is encompassed in that 30 minutes. Let me clarify. She gets 30 minutes to talk about her day, and her work is involved in
Okay,
that. It usually makes up most of her day. This main girl because she's the main girl, she has her shit together. She's a commercial real estate agent, knows her shit, but I'm training her to do what I want. And she's coming into my world, and this is Vince's world. Okay. And this is what I have to do. She's very good at baking. She's very good at cooking. She cooks me dinner. She gives me head rubs, back rubs, feet rubs, all that stuff that she knows that she wants, that makes me happy. And there's many things. A lot of guys will say, well, how does she know these things? Well, a good way to do this is to elicit or show off the behavior that you want her to have, like certain things that you may like after a good rigorous bondage and sex session, and I kicked her out. I followed her out to the car. She's like, where are you going? I'm like, well, if you must know, not that you need to know, I'm going out to the local Wawa to get myself a coconut water because I need hydration. This just dried the fuck out of me, so I need hydration. So she being aware and knowing that she wants to make me happy, she filed that away. So next time she came over with coconut water. I didn't tell her to do that.
I'll pay attention.
I'll pay attention. Exactly. But you don't do that by obviously you can, but to have it more authentic and coming from a place of her saying, wow, I want to make this man really good. This man does it for me. I want to make him happy. So these small little things.
Well, that's a good tell, because you could tell her, and I've told my girl things that I wanted her to do, but it's good to see them take that initiative, because that gives you a sense of what their personality is really like and what their attitude is really like, which is a good thing. Yeah.
Correct. Those are all green flags. Now, does she have some red flags? Absolutely. Do I care about those? No, because the green ones far outweigh the red ones, and the red ones over time, I will train the fuck out of her.
May I also add, you're probably never going to marry this girl as well.
No.
So
I will.
It's academic what the red flags are.
Correct. Yeah. No, Aaron, you're absolutely correct, because I tell every woman up front, number one, we can have a 10-minute relationship, a 10-week relationship, a 10-month, a 10-year relationship. Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. It's completely abstract and arbitrary. We're not exclusive. Number one. Number two, part of the scatological entendre. Number two, I'm not going to move in with you. You're not going to move in with me. And number three, and most importantly, I'm not going to marry you. Sorry. We'll have great fun times together. We'll go on adventures. You'll go on the motorcycle. We'll go out great places to eat and to drink. You'll get fucked really good. You'll get tied up. You'll get spanked. All these great fucking fun things that encompasses being a masculine geek that I am. That you come into my life. You are not going to live here. You are not going to marry me. That's the bottom line.
Ever tell you? Oh, sorry, Vince.
No. Go ahead.
I was going to say, this reminds me of if I were ever to have an online dating profile. I ever tell you about Fun Guy?
No.
So anyone listening, and you guys, I don't own the patents or copyright to this, but you're Fun Guy, and I had this idea where your dating profile would be kind of like a commercial. I am Fun Guy. Fun Guy goes on motorcycle rides. Fun Guy goes and drinks and has Fun Guy spanks and has crazy sex. Da, 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 da. If you want to have fun, hang out with Fun Guy. And then the disclaimer: Fun Guy does not get married. Fun Guy is not someone who is
Yeah.
reliable. Do not introduce Fun Guy to your mother. Do not take Fun Guy home for Thanksgiving.
Unless
And I
the
think
mother
it's
is hot.
Yeah, well, then
Well,
you have a
yeah.
threesome. It's Fun Guy and two girls.
But it sounded like Fun Guy. You know, it's a
Well, that's one
profile.
of the green flags for this main chick is she's bisexual, and I don't mean bisexual like, oh, she kissed a girl in college. She's been in relationships with women. So, having said that, one of my main goals over the next couple months is to slowly train her to look out for women for both of us. So she will vet and bring in another woman for both of us. I will tie up both of them and fuck both of them.
You're a good man, Charlie Brown. You're Fun Guy.
I'm Fun Guy, exactly.
Fun
And,
vent.
and on top of that, I'll film it. So there you
And we lose TJ, of course.
go. What the hell? TJ's
just
not Fun Guy?
No, he's just sad he can't even get one girl, you know. I wish he was there for that insult. I wish he was here for that, but he left. So I couldn't get it in time. So
All right.
he says he has to head out, deal with the house thing.
That's bullshit.
Mhm.
Well,
That's
his house is as old as, Nick's wife. So what?
As old as Nick's wife.
Hey, I get enough shit from you on the internet without me. God almighty, I wake up, Nick's like, stick my dick in Claire's nostrils.
To be fair, and we were talking about this earlier, and we will never talk behind your back things we will not tell to your face. Here's something to your face.
Please talk about how I'm my back. You can always.
No. We do, but we also talk to your face the same thing, so we're honest about it. So we're true friends. So you are more like a 13-year-old girl because whenever you post a photo of a cool piece of landscape, it's not the landscape, it's you and the landscape.
Doing this. That's my shtick.
Oh my god.
Okay, Vince. Would you like me to post more just landscapes? And
please, yes. We don't need the finger. You're not because.
Well, here's my point was that every time you look at a dating profile of any chick under 40, what are they all doing?
taking a picture of themselves.
They're all
not doing.
that.
Are they?
Oh, yeah.
They do. Yeah,
okay.
there's a lot. There's a lot.
And so
of
as time has gone on, when I see those things on Twitter and Instagram that you post, giving everybody the finger, I've more and more I've started thinking about, all those.
You're like a Tinder chick.
All those Tinder chicks.
Okay, number one, I did it before I went pop. Number two, and this is something that I have to accept, but I would not have assumed. And on my Instagram account, if you look how many likes there are, the ones like I'll post a really cool meme, something really funny, really dark, or I'll post a really great picture, like without me in it, they exist. If I put myself in there and give the finger, I get 3 times the amount of likes. And I'm like,
really?
What? Yeah. And I'm not a chick with tits. Yeah, no,
you should like put on a pair of fake tits and see how many you can get.
Dude, if I was a hot chick, I literally would have millions of dollars.
I don't think even if you were a chick, you wouldn't be hot. That's just
anyway, I will post just for you, Vince. I'll post just pictures of landscapes.
Yes, give me a few like plain airscapes. Yes,
yeah, and or maybe I'll do a with and without. With me, without me.
There you go, side by side. Exactly. Yes.
All right.
Do one of those things where they're always do a heart.
Do a heart with
no.
and the whole sun thing, the whole sun, like you holding the sun.
Swear to God.
I'll give you $10. I'll do a heart.
I've been trying to in my
give
labs.
You a super chat.
In my labs, I've been trying to come up with this ultimate insult. Because a lot of these people, like if they do things like the little heart or whatever, like never mind, Johan, this is too deep. You two are all giggling like 13-year-old
I'm
girls.
interested in the ultimate insult because this would be something that would be incredibly useful.
Fucking
okay,
Norman Cockwell over there.
There's a lot of people that need to be insulted.
Somewhere in this sector quadrant of the galaxy.
Somewhere in the sector.
Somewhere in the sector.
Somewhere in the sector.
Star Trek.
Yes.
The logic and the theorems and my thoughts have gone to people who do common shit and are common people. In other words, common people have no value. And I even debate, I know I'm being deadly serious, because there's 7 billion people on this planet. And if you're one of these girls who does this, it takes a picture and duck lips, I have a real question. Are you even alive? Or are you a robot? Because you have been conditioned to be a robot. Many of you go on dating profiles and it's the same thing. You know, I'm swipe right, Trump, blah, blah, blah. I like to travel. And I know people are sentient. I know that you can have a conversation with them. But what I really want to do is when I run into some of these people and we disagree on whatever, I'm called an ist or an ism or a poopy head or something because I told the truth. I want to immediately hone in and be able to ask 3 questions. So what's your degree? You got student loan debt? Oh, and you vote Democrat. I'm like, wow, there's not literally a billion of you in Western civilization. Literally you are worthless and completely replaceable. I mean, blades of grass are as common as you. And just
Jesus.
Hit it and see without cursing or swearing, but just being descriptive to point out to these people, no, you're just boring and you're wasting your life. You're completely interchangeable with you're a thing, you're a commodity, and therefore you're worthless to me as a human being. So I don't care what you say. So instead of arguing with people, you just immediately assess that they're very common and you go in there and say, why would I listen to a common person like you? I'm going to die. I would like my brain to be stimulated. I don't need you to be the 926,727,000th person to tell me that I have privilege or capitalism sucks or whatever. I got it. Now sit down and go hang out with the other people that are pissing away your life, you worthless piece of shit.
I think you nailed it with boring. What do women want more than anything else?
Money.
Attention.
Adventure and attention. No, not even money. Money is like icing on the cake. That money is cool.
Okay.
Women want non-boring and adventure from men.
Constant entertainment.
They need to be attractive.
James, you want to go ahead and read the
well, let Drew finish. He was in the middle of something.
I'll make it really quick. If they're boring, then they're not interesting. They're not attractive. I think boring might be maybe not the ultimate insult, but for a lot of women, I think calling them boring would probably be worse than a whole lot of other things that you could say to them. And especially when it's true and they know that it's true, that there's no depth to their personality. They don't have any original thoughts. They can't carry conversation without just parroting things that they've read in the news or heard their friends say. Right. They are boring. There's nothing going on up here that is original.
That's why but they're supposed to be boring because they look up to an environment. If women were exciting, we wouldn't get along.
I don't know if they were exciting. How think about that statement. If they were exciting, of course we get along. They'd be exciting. Like, wow, she's exciting. I want to hang out with her.
She's exciting because we're exciting.
You're saying we trigger the excitement in her.
Exactly. In and of themselves, Drew is correct. In and of themselves, they're boring as fuck. They are. They completely are. We bring out that girlish excitement in them, and I'm fine with that. I have no problem with that. But that is what we do. Yeah. Go ahead, James. Let her rip.
So the temp is 5555 says, man, Clary doing a heart with duck lips and all contribute to the next vasectomy fund. He certainly doesn't need 2.
No. Well, you never know with Clary.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking. I was going to say, do you remember when James was talking in the microphone, but it wasn't turned on?
I don't think it is turned on. Yeah, it's
Can you not hear me?
It's not turned on. It sounds like it's coming through.
Pretty echoey.
Yeah, it's coming through your PC, not your microphone.
Mm-hmm.
Is it plugged in?
On StreamYard, make sure you have the proper
selection.
Yeah,
man, and I'm always catching shit for boober tech and whatnot. And you got the youngest guy in the room can't run his mic.
But you're of a Matt Forney caliber there, Nick. You know who Matt Forney was?
Yeah.
I'm asking Nick. Does Nick know who Matt Forney was or is?
Well, first of all, I'm a software engineer, so all of the boomer tech stuff is just bullshit.
Well, but okay, God, Jesus. Do you know Matt Forney?
No.
All right, let me show. You're just like Matt Forney. You say, Matt, stop making noise. It wasn't me. So
You know what the
What
best part
Matt
about
Forney.
you know what the best part about you moving out to your new Aaron Clary
I'm
Redoubt in
2
South
states
Dakota?
further from you than before.
Yes, you're further away from me, you dirty whore. No, you took your blue rubber band with you.
I love it.
And you're
That pisses people
you
off.
fucking dickhead. Take this shit off.
No, the going rate. If people wanted to come down, it's $3,500.
Do Aaron, when I come out there in the springtime, I'm taking that off.
Well, then I'm just gonna hide it before you do, and then when you go, put it back on. Why'd you tell me that?
You'll never remember. You don't even remember when you can't even.
Hey, I got a to-do list. I got a
No,
nice
you-
tight to-do list. I
You're not
got.
gonna put-
Hang
you're-
on. Let me show
you're
you
not
something. Let me show
Hide
you.
rubber band on your
Got
to-do
something.
list.
Watch this. I got something to show you. Hang on.
Hide blue rubber band from Vince when he comes out. Jesus Christ.
Now let me show you. Now, normally I'm not this anal retentive, but I did this for.
No, you're
I
anal
won't lie.
retentive, right?
I won't lie. This is for anger management. So, I always had these to-do lists, and I go through it, and then you always have to add new stuff, obviously, because that's the nature of life.
Mhm.
And they said, well, why don't you record or save these to-do lists to see what you actually do? This is 6 months of completed to-do lists, or partially completed, because sometimes I carry on the
Holy
older
shit.
stuff. So, yeah, I am very thorough. The reason I am
you could
successful I
sign.
am
You
because
could, you could laminate and sign one of those and actually auction off and make some serious money.
I don't know if I could make serious money, but $20 is $20. And I've done
You
worse
are a gay
things.
motherfucker.
I am a sure, yes.
You-
Anyway,
sure.
I will take rubber band off before Vince gets here. But it'll have to be this spring because I take off for Vegas in late December.
Well, no, it'll be the spring. I'll be out. I'll be out.
Okay.
I'll be out in March or April. Yeah.
You gonna ride your motorcycle?
No, I'll fly out for the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty long drive. It's more than your 40-mile record.
50 miles. Get it right.
50. Oh, okay. Drew, you got a motorcycle, right? You rode a bike, right?
I have not been on a motorcycle since high school.
We need to change that.
I should probably get one of
That-
these days. I would like to be able to.
Probably.
I would like to get something that I could take off road though, that I could put a pack and a bunch of stuff on and just go wherever the fuck that I want, way out in the wilderness. Well, obviously
We'll just
somewhere
get
that
two.
I can get to and from.
Get two. Get yourself an off-road motorcycle,
That's what I need.
like a motorbike, and then get yourself a cruiser, like Aaron and
It
I have.
literally doubles the amount of road you can ride on, especially out west. If you go out to Utah and Colorado, it's unreal what you can do with those off-road bikes.
That's what I need.
Yep.
Something
some
that'll
places
still run after the EMPs.
Yeah. And also you will be in areas where there is no cell phone reception, like no one can bother you. No one will be able to find you. So if you're dead, no one will be able to find you. Or if you're in trouble, no one will be able to find you. But no one can bother you at least. So you'll be left to your own misery if you fall down.
You can die in peace.
If
Correct.
I have to dispose of a bunch of feds, they'll have a difficult time tracking me.
Okay, they'll find you. They'll find you.
Now, Aaron, you said you were just,
hypothetically.
Aaron, you said you were just in Vegas a few weeks ago.
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago.
Now, there's a picture that looked like it was in a vintage steakhouse and bar that I think is in Vegas, and I'm drawing a blank on the name.
Was I in it, or was this?
I'm wondering. It was one of the pictures you posted, and it looked like you were there. So, did you go to an old steakhouse bar somewhere?
That's Capo's. No, not on the strip. I avoid the strip like I do Vince.
Well, the old strip.
Don't want to go to the.
Hey, you fucking dick.
No strip, either downtown, which is Fremont Street. That's quote the old strip. And then there is, go there if you've never been to Vegas. Sure, be the tourist, check that out.
Yeah, I've done that
But
before,
once once you've done that, there's no reason to go to the strip. Capos is way on the west side of town,
Okay.
kind of tucked away in a
They
neighborhood.
have the different wards, as it were. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's a speakeasy, and you got to have the password. So you email them or text them, and they'll text you the password. You set up, and it's no windows, and that's the place. And sadly, it was my favorite restaurant of all time.
Mhm.
It was the best sit down restaurant I've ever been to, and because of the disease, their cook is gone, and the food is
shit.
now very average. And now you would only go for the experience.
Oh, that sucks.
That is
that was-
really sad to hear.
That's-
It is very sad. I mean, we're
Because that's one of
talking.
the only old Vegas places that's still there.
I don't know. This isn't an old Vegas place. It's probably been around since the 80s. If you want an old Vegas place, go to the Champagne Room, which
Okay.
is where the Rat Pack used to hang out. And rumor had it they banged some hears in one of the rooms. At the
Probably
Champagne
correct.
Room.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, but otherwise, if you go to Vegas, there's no reason to go to the strip. There's so much other fun stuff to do. I mean, there's casinos off strip that are just fine if you like gambling. There's tons of hiking, motorcycle riding, mountains. There's just it's a wonderful, wonderful town.
Nice.
Yeah.
And when I fly out there, you're gonna pick me up, right, from the airport?
Well, do you should I be like
You
DT and charge you money? No, of course I'd pick you up. You're my
Son
friend.
of a bitch.
I
Yeah.
would pick you up for free.
Thank you.
I kind of look forward to it. Like, oh my God, somebody came out to visit. Of course, I pick people up at the
Cool.
airport. Yeah,
I'll buy you lunch.
that's how things would traditionally go in friendships. Yes,
Correct. It is transactional. Yes.
it's. But yeah, we'll I can, and you know what? I'll even let you stay in the guest room at the Southern
you
Command.
you won't put me on the floor.
Depends if there's somebody already there, but there's a
You
guest room.
son
usually.
of a bitch.
No,
Thank
it's what you get a free lodging. What more do you want?
No, I'm messing with you. Aaron, you want to read this super chat?
Andrew S for $2 says, "How do I get the girls, and what's a good business idea?" You get the girls. Do you want the honest truth? Like, just instead of me goofing around,
No,
saying,
no, lie to us, Aaron.
Lie.
To us.
Okay, lie.
Yeah.
All right, you get the girls by being yourself and agreeing and being an ally.
Yes.
Okay, that's how you get the girls. A good business idea is drop shipping, trading crypto, flipping houses, or any other business venture where you put your hat on backwards and you pose in front of a sports car. Okay, those are all
That's
good
key is a
business ideas.
sports car, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Nick's got it. He's got it. He's probably Nick going to business, man. You're probably going to make 6 figs.
How do you think I made my money?
6 figs doesn't mean
I was
money.
mainly
It's just
doing this
actual
shit.
6 figs.
Yeah.
Gee, Aaron, I thought you were going to say go to a 4-year university and major in women's studies, and that's how you make the big bucks, right?
No,
Andrew wants to see you have a heart attack on a live stream.
Become a teacher.
If you go,
It's some serious suicide fodder.
Right?
if you open a sandwich shop, you can find a lot of
Sandwich
employees that way.
Make me a sandwich.
No, if you want
I
to get the
would-
girls, you go to the gym and you work out and you groom yourself and you wear good cologne and you put on nice clothes. And here's probably more important than the gym itself. You ask girls out. That is how, in person.
You
That's how you do it.
talk to them. You go up and talk.
Talk to them. Hi, how you doing? My name's TJ Martinell. Do you like little boys?
Jesus Christ.
Now you just walk right up to them and say, "We should fuck."
That's
Little-
that's
Just
the,
like that. Get it out there. They're
that's like
interested or
you're
they're not.
doing
Save
the
your
Alan
time.
Alan Roger Curry deal. Yeah.
He knows that's. I talked with him at a convention a few years back, and we hit a same page. You
Yeah.
just say, "Hey, we should fuck," and just
Well,
put it out there.
I would say
Don't
a
waste
mixture.
time.
I would say a mixture of subtle seduction and forthright forwardness, like Alan Roger Curry and yourself. I would say a mix of that, and that's what I use. A woman knows when I talk to a woman, a girl, within the first 10 to 15 minutes, she knows what I'm about. I'm not wasting time because I know there's bandied about the friend zone. Guys put themselves in the friend zone,
Yes,
not the
they do.
woman. The guys do. They do that by being a nice guy and not letting the woman know that he wants to fuck her.
You can't be friend zoned if you don't want to.
Exactly. You friend zone yourself.
Yeah. You just have to make it clear what your intentions are and that you're not going to settle for anything else. Period.
Correct. Otherwise, you move on. And you know, we're all getting up in age.
I think a happy meet. Well, if we're talking about age and saving time, just pay for it. To be perfectly honest, I mean that'll cut to the chase and you won't waste your time. But I think somewhere a happy medium between let's fuck and oh geez, you're really I think just saying
impression.
That or Jerry
no,
Lewis.
kind of
That's your Jerry Lewis impression.
Don't be Jerry Lewis.
Little nervous Jerry Lewis, Professor Kelp with some TJ. You want to go hiking up on the mountains and the hills, huh?
It's like it's the Animaniacs Jerry Lewis. Oh,
Yeah.
not with the loud thing, and make with the whisper talk.
Go out hiking with me, will you?
Oh,
and
the
race
hiking
the
with
dog?
me with the hiking shoes and the dog and the stick. Oh my god!
Jobs behind the mountain with the cliffs and the potentially being caught.
And the drinking coffee on the cliff.
No, I think just going up to a girl like, "Hey, you're cute. Let's go out." I think that's a real quick, not land you in jail and get charges.
You could say, "Yeah, I think you're cute, and we need to go out. Let's do it right now.
Boom.
Let's get out of here.
We're gonna get coffee. Let's go.
We're gonna go
Come
get
on.
coffee. Like, we're
That's your
gonna blow this
husband.
pop.
Tell him to stay here.
He's not
We'll be
invited.
back.
He's like, "Oh, I have a boyfriend." Well, he's not invited. Let's go.
I see you. You're married to a millennial. All right, now look, I'll bring her back. Don't worry. You stay there. You vote for whoever you're going to vote for. I'll be back.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Rah. Who's in the private chat? James, be right back. Jesus Christ, James.
What happened to James? He looks like he's being serious about his diet.
James is out in Texas, yeah, and he's
okay. I didn't ask where he's living. I said he's gained muscle and lost weight.
I'm getting to that. If you let me fucking finish, Mr. Aaron Clary. He's out in Texas and away from his sort of shitty situation in New Jersey, and he can focus more on those things.
Awesome.
Yes.
Good man.
Yes.
What town?
Hiking. The not New Jersey town.
Oh, we're keeping that anonymous then.
Correct. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
It's not in Jersey.
Yeah. Well, you look a hell of a lot better.
And he feels a lot better too. His microphone sucks balls, but
Who the fuck are we talking?
We're talking about you, you son of a bitch.
I just got back here.
We can talk to you behind your back. Hey, Richard, I got a question. Have you gone to Vegas regularly then, or what? Hello,
Who's Richard?
Who's on the top right?
Robert.
Sorry, whatever. Some guy whose name starts with an R.
Whatever. Jesus Christ.
Robert.
Whatever, Clappy.
Clappy.
What? Do you go to Vegas regularly or no?
I haven't been in a while, but no, I've spent quite a few fun weekends with certain people.
All right. All right. Well, if you come out, let me know this winter. We'll go to a
not winter, spring.
Spring? No. I'm going to Vegas in winter. You guys can come. No, I'm not in Vegas right now. I'm in South Dakota. Where's Waldo? Where's Cappy? We'll get a map. I'm in South Dakota now. I'll go to the Southern Command in like early January, late December.
Okay.
If you guys want to come on down to Vegas too, please do. We got a guest room. All right. And then April-ish, I'll be back in South Dakota.
That's when the Masculine Geek Village by the Dork will be happening.
Village by the Dork will occur. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Here's a question. Here's a question for you. I go to Vegas regularly. My favorite steakhouse is kind of way out. I think it's north on Rampart. Could it be? It's called Echo and Rig. You ever been there?
Hang on, let me look it up. I have not. Echo.
It's not. I don't. It's got kind of a contemporary feel to it, which I do not like at all because I like the old timey shit. But the steak there is just fucking.
Oh, that's
phenomenal.
out west. You're in Summerlin. That's
yeah,
fancy
yeah,
stuff.
Summerlin.
Okay, yeah.
The steak out there is fucking awesome.
That is right next door to one of my favorite cigar lounges out in Vegas, called La Casa.
Yeah, I know that place.
Okay, yeah. So you've been at Echo and Rig. Yeah, I haven't ate there because I'm not rich. But I do go to the cigar lounge.
Well, when I went there, in all fairness, the my company was picking up the tab, so I didn't have to worry about it as much. But I would when I go back, I'll go back on my own because it was just fucking phenomenal.
Maybe I'll have to try it if it was that good, because that area is part of a thing called Tivoli Square. And it's got all the fancy shops and everything, and everything kind of goes in and out of business because no one can make it. So maybe I should eat at Echo and Rig before they close down.
I think they've been there a few years, but it was when I was there, the steak was out of this fucking world.
I'll have to try it then. It's kind of a pain in the ass because that's clear the opposite side of Henderson.
Yeah, it was a long ride. We had to rent. I don't remember if we used car service or what, but it was like a 30-minute, 40-minute ride, I think, something like that.
Oh yeah, especially if you got traffic.
I was drunk, so I probably don't remember exactly how long it took. But
you were drunk? No.
Yeah, maybe it was a ride. It was a hike.
Well, Robert, if you come out, what we'll do is we'll go to the comic book place with the Dungeons and Dragons game, and I'll show you all the Spurgs. And hopefully and the 27-year-old who almost cried because we wouldn't let him cast a spell, so you could see those people.
Okay.
We should just run a Masco and Geek D&D game while we're there.
I think first you need permission from them, but that would be good to have like normal guys show up and play the game.
Yeah.
The GF came with me one time. I was just going to buy something, and she's looking around. You could see she was kind of like scared and repulsed and apprehensive all at the same time, because it did smell like feet inside. I will admit that. And then,
so she was looking around like she was in a Wuhan wet market. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, all the guys, classical, stereotypical. They're all fat. They stink.
Wet
There's the
feet.
guy with the Mountain Dew. It stank. There was that one fat chick that got handed around from the Alpha Nerds.
The Alpha Nerds.
Well, or whatever they are called, the Alpha Spurgs.
Alpha Spurg.
Yeah, he's got the most expensive Pokemon card, or however they did for a minute.
He drives a Ford Focus.
It's Magic the Gathering now, I think.
Oh, all right. Well, I don't know how their hierarchy works, but anyway.
Well, I look at it this way: if we're all converging on your South Dakota command, we'll just play at your house.
Yeah, that'd be best. They do have 2 really cool comic book stores in downtown Rapid City, though.
Look at this jackass.
Yeah, speaking of gay guys who collect Pokemon cards.
It's gold member.
Yeah,
White Rastafarian.
Yeah, your Pokemon cards.
Caucasian Rastafarian.
That's right.
We are now going to witness the full force, this fully armed and fully operational battle system, because I have not tried out my laptop with streaming since I changed the battery.
That's it. You just got your Mac battery, didn't you?
Yeah, and I did it myself.
Nice. Okay. Well,
Myself. Let's help me with it, but
It's coming to good so far.
yeah,
okay,
you're coming
that's
in. You're
good.
coming in loud and clear. It's pretty strong. There's no fading in and out. It's
I
not
Now,
like,
saw-
Jack,
it's not
are you
like
coming?
Nick's.
Are you going to come to the United States for meeting by the village, or meeting by the dork, or
Village by the
dork?
Village by the Dork
Whatever.
in April.
Dork by the Sea. in
Village by the
April.
Dork.
Village by the bathhouse.
That's his
Not
real
in-
name. Come on, Nick. Jesus.
April.
Not
Can you
in-
make it in April?
When
No,
are you
I
coming
can't.
out? Oh, here's the question. When are you coming out to the U.S.?
Okay, so I'm going to Portugal first in April. So that's January, February, April, May. That probably be June or July.
As in moving out there, right?
Yeah, as in going to the States, June or
Gotcha.
July.
All right.
Okay,
You
I'll make
should
sure
just
I'm out
move
of the
here.
country by June or July. Okay.
Yeah.
And who would take you? No one.
Mexico would probably.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count. That's like the cheap girl in the streets. Everybody, she takes
It's warm
everybody.
down there, and they got nice beaches and mountains and culture and.
Oh my word.
Whatever works for you. If you get gang raped, don't call us.
He likes that, so it's par for the course.
Used as a drug mule.
He
But
gets
what
passed
were we
around
talking-
Like a cigarette.
What we were talking about, other than
We're talking about Village by the Dork. We're talking about D&D at Aaron's house. And if we all come out, we'll all be playing a game.
Aaron allows new people in his house.
Yeah, everyone has an open invite. I just, I'll admit this, it's kind of a pain in the ass to get to, because I was
You'll
going to potentially fly down to Miami. And then I realized, I got to get like a connecting flight. So if you're coming anywhere like not Minneapolis, not Des Moines, not Denver, or not Salt Lake, you're going to have to get a connecting flight to some puddle jumper. It's kind of a pain in the ass.
That's a pain in the ass, yeah.
yeah.
But make sure we have. I don't check a bag. I usually just have a carry on, so it's fine.
I'll go down to the store and buy you some extra tampons, so you don't have to pack those either. You can just have those.
Fantastic. I'll just borrow yours.
Oh, touche.
Touche. See, fucking man pond string is hanging out. Cool. Well, what we can do is we'll coordinate it so Aaron can pick us up and we can all ride in the back of his pickup truck.
Right. We'll all fit. Actually, probably all would. I will say though, like, let me know if you guys are comfy because there's like a spare bedroom. That's about it.
Mhm.
I got a couple blow up mattresses and all that. Otherwise, I got like futons. So if you guys want to, like, you need your own place or you need a hotel.
No. I sleep on the floor. I don't care.
Okay, cool. I got plenty of
Sleeping
stuff.
bag, and I'm all set.
Cool.
Exactly.
All right. Sounds good. Yeah. Then I got.
We just lost fucking Jack. Fucking homo.
They got him. He's
They
trying
did.
to go to Spain. And then they got
Yeah,
him.
Portugal, and they're like, no, we can't have that.
You can't leave the country without all of his shots and his tracking chip. And
Well,
all
they're
that
locking Portugal back down again.
What
Yep.
this time? Because of Omicron or whatever it is called?
Omicron, the next whatever. Yeah. What the fuck happened to you?
Everybody was coming in laggy, so I
Coming?
thought the transmission
Laggy.
was coming in lagging. So I was like, you know what? I'll just exit and enter the
He
studio.
had to go and adjust the antenna on top of his windmill.
Now, that was actually the first funny Dutch joke I heard in a long time.
I'm a quarter Dutch, and I grew up in a community that was nearly 100% Dutch. They actually celebrated Kermis
You mean gay?
yearly. No, from the Netherlands. And the wooden shoes, the
Same
whole
thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
all that
gay.
deal. So
Cool.
Everybody in
That's
Europe's
Dutch humor.
bisexual, right?
I don't know. Jack,
Did you wear your do you wear your mandatory Rurb and Jack hat? You know, just
your beanie?
what's that called?
This
aside
thing?
from ugly, yeah. Aside from like a
Besides
horrible,
ugly.
horrible taste of fashion, what is that called?
That is a beanie, sir.
It's your
and
beanie, see?
You should. You should.
Do you have hair? You're starting like you're the European Tim Pool. We don't even know if you got
We
hair. or
have
not.
hair.
The European
But it's
Tim
short.
Pool.
It's
Okay.
short.
You know, I so want him to yank that thing off and have all these dreadlocks just spill out.
That's what I was hoping. Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It's
It's like
such
a
a
used
big
to have
disappointment.
bouffant.
I used to have hair like James.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, a long time ago.
You don't need
Somewhere
that
out
shit.
there, there's a picture of me with hair down to here. And
There
You
is
have
that.
style
I thi-
for
I
male
think I've
styles.
seen that, yeah.
hold it. You all tried to slam me at the same time. I didn't
No,
get
I
any
said I
insults
think
out.
I've seen.
Oh,
I
you're
think I've
used to
seen
that.
Oh,
I said
to
I've
being
seen
used-
that on that's the style for gay prostitutes.
right. Thank you.
We're used to.
That's-
Yeah, you're used to being slammed. So
That's how I
Both
make my
ones.
money out here in Rapid City. If you grow the hair long, it's like the sign, and I hang around the truck stops. And,
you take the D. Yeah, we
that's how
got
I
it.
afforded to get the dam. I built the dam for my pond. That I afforded that all by sucking
But
dick.
hang on. Here's the important question: How is the swamp doing in your backyard?
Well, it's not officially a pond.
Oh, you dredged
yeah.
it.
Nice.
Okay.
Dredged it, cleaned it up, put some aquacide.
are
or
the
some
frogs
chemicals in
gay?
there. Well, it had to be deepened, like your vaginal cavity. All right, and then
like your fucking mangina.
with some of the rocks and other things that came up with it, we like, okay, if we put a dam or a berm over there,
A berm. Wow,
it would
that's very
fill
berm.
up. Yeah, and it filled up. And so my goal is to get it to swimming status,
Ah,
but that's
okay.
going to require like sand and some other stuff. But if I can
Sand.
keep it, if I can have it constantly cleanly flowing through, yeah, I have a little swimming.
Do
hole.
you have the fountain, the gay fountain, so you can keep the water flowing? Fresh?
No, I did not have the fountain of Jack with water coming out of his penis.
You mean the fountain of youth? The fountain of youth,
You need to get
which the old men here also desire.
You know what? Okay, I've told you guys this. I just came up with an idea. I told you the idea, like if I had $1 billion, all I'd spend my money on would be crazy practical jokes. I've ever told you guys this?
Yes.
What you mean? You don't do that now with your memes and shit?
No, that's memes. But like if I had $1 billion, like for example, I have a buddy who's very anal retentive. And so he did all this research finding a house. I'm going to ignore it and just move on with my story. So he spent literally years trying to find this house. Now, if I was a billionaire, I literally would go to everyone in that neighborhood around his house. Like, look, I'll pay you money to paint your house pink. We'll paint it back whatever color you want. I'll wait for him to fly out somewhere and he'd come back. Everyone around, it would be pink. Or like, something, like someone buys a boat, I get a boat that's 2 feet longer and it's called, let's say my friend's name is Bob and I called Bob is gay and I'd have an arrow pointing to his boat next to that.
You could fly around with a bathtub with a flying bathtub.
Well, if I had $1 billion, what I would do is in the local town square that Jack lives in, because they all live in town squares, right? Europe is just quaint, just squares everywhere. There's no squares. And I'd have one of Jack with his beanie on and Rob also with his beanie, but it'd be that Italian peeing thing, but Rob would be down there catching it in his mouth. That's what I would do. Jack would wake up and put it right there, Jack Napier, and Herb says,
like that photo I tweeted out recently of Rob doing that with the mouth open.
No, I gotta see. Wait,
go look
you have
at
a Twitter account?
Go look at my Twitter feed with Rob. I'm like, what the fuck is going on over there at Red Evening? What the fuck you guys doing? And Jack was just like, I have no words. yeah. Go scroll through my Twitter feed.
Oh, here, this Fireside chat's I'm on it. I'll tweet this out.
There you go. Tweet that shit out, you son of a bitch.
I will.
I'll see if I can find it. Hang on.
Maybe then the Masculine Geek will get some subscribers.
Exactly. We'll get up to like 4,000 instead of 2.
Hey, you guys are doing good. I gotta look. You guys all got your channels monetized. You all got over 1,000. You put in the work.
Exactly. We do.
I have other people. Hey, give me 1,000 subscribers, and I'll give you a ride to the airport. Like, okay.
Fuck.
Is that what they do?
Yeah.
Those assholes.
If they're not putting out decent content, they're all going to unsubscribe the next time they see some shit anyways.
Yeah, I mean, even I got to 1,000. I mean, come on, people.
I know,
it's
right?
not that hard.
Exactly. If Jack can get to 1,000.
Is this Chris Lee?
Christopher
Lee, 1995.
Yeah,
Rasputin the Mad Mug.
Yeah.
Stop looking at men, Clary.
Elizabeth Montgomery. Holy cow. Hey, was she Bewitched?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, she
wow.
was.
Whoa.
She was a smoke show.
Yeah, she is.
Total smoke show.
That's right.
I could put her in a French maid outfit and have her cook around.
Can you imagine her rejecting Clary as well?
She's still alive?
No,
I don't think so.
No, she's
not for that reason. I'm just asking.
All right, here you go. I found it. Hang on, I'll share my screen. Hang on.
You got a daughter?
I share my screen. Hang on.
It's gonna take her on a date, but look at that old picture the whole time.
You look nothing like your pictures.
That's Rob.
Oh my god!
I just like the look of disturbance on my face.
You're like, I'm like, what the fuck?
Hey, where is Verb? I haven't seen him forever. Is he busy working or what?
I guess.
No. He is getting off Twitter because he was grumpy the last 2 Red Evenings, and I just stopped him in his tracks. I'm like, I'm telling you this as a friend. Get off Twitter.
Right.
I don't blame him.
It can piss you off after a bit.
You have to make sure you don't let it get to you. But
do any of you guys
he is busy at work? But yeah.
Do any of you guys even watch the news anymore? Because I gave that up, and that helps out a lot.
No, I don't.
No, it isn't even news anymore. There is just propaganda.
The only time the corporate press comes across my feed is when someone like Michael Malice is making fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And only when funny people are making fun of it. Otherwise, I mute them.
So I was I think it was at like either the Cigar Lounge or something, and they had like the nightly news. It was either NBC or CBS. And do you guys know that plasticky brown guy?
Yeah.
He's
Don
got
Lemon?
glasses, huh?
Don Lemon,
Don Lemon's a big
plasticky
homo.
brown guy.
Yeah, he's like their main. He's the not Anderson Cooper anchor, Don Lemon, and he looks really weird. No, not Don Lemon. That guy's too young. And you could see he's specifically black. This guy's some kind of amorphous, like 1/8 black. No, he's just like it's. Hang on, let me look him up.
He has transcended skin color.
I know who you're
He is
talking
now
about.
of all colors.
You talking about Fareed Zachariah?
No, Lester Don Holt. You see
Oh
this
yeah,
guy?
yeah.
Like he's either really tan or there's just a little bit of something in him. And I think he's a robot. And I remember seeing he came on the show. And when I was a little kid, you remember, the nightly news, that was serious. Bum, 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 bum,
5
bum,
and
bum,
6
bum, bum.
o'clock. Yeah.
Right. And I'm looking at him like, you shill. And that's not even anything about him, but you just look at it and you could see it's all propaganda. It's all precisely measured. It's formulaic. And it's like, okay, trot out the robot. And now he's going to have a stern face and say stern things with my thick rimmed glasses because I'm really intelligent. You got to listen to me.
Glasses?
Well, and the only people I know that actually listen to the news is like my stepmom, who's old as fuck. No one young or slightly street smart watches the news anymore or takes it seriously at least.
No, not really. No.
Right.
Like
this
you.
thing gonna have like 60 Minutes. Who watches 60 Minutes? That's still on.
Liberal women. That's who watches it. Liberal women watch everything.
It's entertainment propaganda. It's all about ratings. They will do whatever makes them and their shareholders money. It has absolutely nothing to do with objective, unbiased reporting. It is all engineering, public opinion, propaganda, and entertainment. Sell advertising.
Yeah, my dad's like, "Oh, did you see 60 Minutes?" I'm like, "No, Dad, I had stuff going." What do you mean, Dad? What are you
60
watching
Minutes.
60 Minutes? What the hell?
The only reason
I'm Bob Bobson. I'm Frank Frankerson. I'm Dick Dickerson. I'm Gay Vince. And now on 60 Minutes,
more
Dutch
like
people, are
Magdalene
they
Geek.
really human?
The only reason I still watch the news is because of late they're rolling out the totalitarian state here in the Netherlands. So you kind of want to know when they're going to shoot you in
You
the
guys
street.
are going back on lockdown too, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. Everything is closed at 5 p.m.
Wow.
They have accepted in the first chamber, which is more important than the second chamber of parliament. They have now accepted the 2G rule, which means unvaccinated are no longer welcome in unnecessary stores, which means they can now only go to supermarkets
and porn shops.
Yeah.
So no Lego store trips.
No Lego store trips. No Lego
You
store
know,
trips. Speaking
there was
about that, because it's not implemented yet, Watson and I were walking downtown yesterday, and he bought that new Lego Porsche, which is actually pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
You drive around in it?
No, you can't drive around.
Oh,
You can
okay.
pick up
Just
chicks
check.
with it, and you can be
Ah, okay.
cool on it with it on Instagram. So yeah,
Nice.
So you won't be taking your
how much
picture
did that-
in front of it, and cigar in one hand, martini
well,
in the
I
other.
think you
Posing.
can do it
Yeah.
when you like pose it in the back a bit. It looks bigger, kind of thing, and you have
Blur it
to
out.
stand more in front of the camera. There can be something done with angles, I think.
What did that set him back? Because I was shocked at how much the Ghostbusters Lego set cost here.
Well,
in
the
the United States.
Ghostbusters Lego set is an exclusive and has been out of stock for years, and not it's not being released anymore. But the Porsche was actually on sale. It was $120.
Okay, that I can see. But when
Sorry.
get a Lego version of Rob,
Right.
Lego Rob.
Do I have that? No, I don't.
Did y'all
I
see
sti-
that 3 people escaped from the concentration camps in Australia, and they locked down the fucking highways.
They went after
And
them.
were-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What?
They were searching car by car. Yeah, 3 dudes scaled the fence and ran away, and they locked down everything. And the Australian police were going car by car, stopping everything on the road, searching every car to try to find them. It was nuts.
Yeah, rumor has it that tomorrow the most popularly elected American president in history is going to be releasing an announcement with some new measures and restrictions and so forth for the United States. So,
Well, I can tell you right now, that's not going to reach down here.
yeah,
Nobody's going to give a
Joe-
shit.
Joe Biden can take all of that, and we know it's Biden. We know it's not Biden. He can barely
Right.
think. His brain is mush. Whoever's pulling Biden's strings
Yeah.
can take all of that. They can roll it up nice and tight, and they can shove it right the fuck up their asses, because we're not going to comply with any of it. And if push comes to shove it, and they try to force it on us, we're going to fucking kill all of you.
Pretty much.
Well, the nice thing is at least you have a governor that will stand up to it. I can't say the same for the rhino here in Indiana.
We need more of them.
Our autocrat in chief,
You
Governor
guys need a female governor like I got, who's hot.
Oh, well,
No, I don't trust any woman in politics. I just
She's
don't.
good so far. She's good
Yeah,
so
so far, just
You
wait.
have
just
Bobert, is it?
No, her name's Gnome.
No, oh,
Yeah, Christy
no, okay,
Nome.
I'm thinking
Christy Nome.
Nome. She's not bad, but here's the thing: women are something like 3 times more likely than men to be mentally unstable, and most of them are completely unreliable and
What a
goofy
shocker.
for at least 1 out of 4 weeks. So you
And
don't
that's just
want
the
to-
ones I've been married to.
You don't.
Right.
You don't want that in government at any level.
Nope. Nope.
Well, our governor sucks, but nobody gives a shit what she does either. So we haven't had, like, I've not worn a mask down here the whole time. I haven't changed anything I've done, and nobody said a goddamn thing to me, and that's been it. So down here, most people don't really give a shit. So that's good.
I've seen masks on some employees, and that's about it.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
the same in New Jersey. There's only masks on employees in restaurants and stores and shit. But as far as like pedestrians and customers, it's really if whatever you're comfortable with. There's no mandate.
No, I'm kind of
That's
curious
very
what's his name hope to accomplish when you have states' rights. I mean, he can come up with maybe on federal property.
We're gonna
Like if you go to Badlands National Park, you got to wear a mask in their facility. Or if you go to an airport, that's about it. But the states, last I checked, can tell them to fuck off.
We're all going to tell them to fuck off. Everybody should just say, fuck you, fuck your mandates, fuck the whole lot of you, fuck off, get the fuck out of here. We're not going to do a goddamn fucking thing you tell us. And literally, Ron DeSantis told Joe Biden to go fuck himself in some phone call. This was a few months back. I think they made a big deal out of it.
article.
Yeah, I don't remember I think he referred to him as Joe instead of Mr. President. And Biden, which he's not the fucking president. Everybody knows
He's
were
not the
installed. They didn't win. He's not the fucking president. He can go and fuck himself. But apparently he took offense at being called Joe instead of Mr. President and said something about, he will address me as Mr. President or something. And DeSantis told him, go fuck yourself, Joe, or something to that effect, which is
Yeah.
exactly what every single
Everybody
person
should
in
be
this
saying.
country
As well, he should be. Yes.
is saying to him. Fuck Joe Biden has been the chant all over the country.
What,
big sporting events.
Let's go, Ryan.
What's his polls? Approval polls.
Someplace they said he's at like 30-something%, which
If
I think
if
is
that, that's
I think
very
is
very
bullshit.
generous.
I
That's
think
very
it's
generous.
bullshit. I would imagine
He was like at 30
it's in the
and Kamala
teens.
was at like 27 or something like that.
Oh,
Is that
that dick sucker.
yeah.
I would be surprised if those numbers are actually even half that.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure they probably
This is Reuters. He's at a 49 disapproval, 44 approve.
Mm.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah, I'm.
There's no way.
Yeah.
That's conflated.
Yeah, consider any time that they take
Very
any kind of
inflated, I should
survey.
It's still low though.
Who are
44.
they
I mean,
polling?
Here, YouGov. This might be a little bit more reliable if you because it's up to people to. God damn it, people! Yes, I accept your fucking cookies.
Cookies.
Disapprove
Cookie
50,
1.
approve 44, neutral 5 and change. You know,
I would
mean,
hope that people aren't that stupid.
Well, Drew, I think I'm gonna have to disappoint you because even here,
I know. Well, Twitter is a great example. Like
Yes.
90-something% of Twitter are absolutely fucking morons. Although I would like to think that Twitter is not a really big cross section of the whole country, and maybe it just attracts a lot of stupid people for some reason.
it does.
Although it's probably not as bad as Instagram. Instagram just
And
seems
Facebook.
like, and Facebook, Instagram seems like Twitter, but super shallow. So
Yeah, I mean, if you see one of the biggest advocates for Instagram also advocating that women will only date you in exchange for something, you're gonna scratch the back of your head a bit and think to yourself, "Oh, okay, how seriously do I need to take this?" Like,
Well, here's the thing: a large part when I actually did work for a living, the large part of my career was in market research, and I know for a fact that there are plenty of, with the way market research works, and I won't bore you with all the details, but the companies that actually do the data collection, there are a lot of them that they just pay somebody to fill out the surveys and tell them how to fill them out, and then they then they draw their data collection from that, which is all bogus. So you can't. I'm not saying they all do that, but I'm saying there are some do that, and some do that working for very prominent market research outfits who probably don't know. And it's well, that's what I'm saying. It's all made up. It's totally made up.
Holy shit. If you're not getting honest answers from an appropriate sample based on who you're polling for, the data is going to be completely fucking worthless.
Right. And what happens is, instead of sampling the actual target demographic, they'll either ship it off to their own people that they've hired inside to fill out all of the surveys, or they'll send it to places in India where they got, just like with everything else, they got a bunch of people out there that'll just, they'll get a profile of how many surveys they need that say this and how many they need that say that. And they just send it to them, and they fill them out and send them back quickly. And
this has got to be known enough because of people who have worked in the industry coming out and saying this is how it's done, that the companies that do this could not possibly continue to do it and still get business, or at least I'd hope they wouldn't.
Drew, I absolutely wish I had a more positive opinion on this, but no. Even in the Netherlands, the ruling party for 10 years now has had scandal after scandal after scandal. And I mean detrimental scandals, as in thousands of families got financially bankrupt because of things the ruling party did, yet they keep being the largest party in every survey. People really are that dumb. People really want shit for dinner. Enjoy the decline. Look, we're in a bit of an echo chamber where you think, yeah, you know what? Most people I hang around with think like that. The majority of people just want to be fed and they want to be safe. That's what they want.
And you guys keep, and I hate to deliver this, but half the population is girls. Deadly, generally speaking, they will trade in freedom for security.
Yes.
Right. And I don't know. I haven't seen any polling data.
Happy life.
And half of the male population act like girls.
Yes.
Did you guys see my
rainbow people?
Did you see my video where what was it that it was something like titled "Politics is downstream from culture, but culture is downstream from pussy"? Did anyone see that video?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
I know.
You're always going to get a certain segment of men who will follow along with whatever girls do. Because vagina. And that's
because they're pathetic, and that's what they think they need to do to be able to get laid.
Right. But enough about Vince. Let's talk about something else.
All this just comes back to we have to repeal the 19th.
I disagree.
That is Drew's platform.
Hello.
If I ever run for office,
Drew, repeal the 19th. Yes.
Let's have some fun with this. You guys were all alive, with the exception of myself and Jack. You guys were all alive in the 80s or whatever, right?
Yes. You were
All
even a thought.
So, who voted to criminalize drugs?
Generally, conservatives did, but we'd have to
Who
go
voted
back
for the
quite
war on
some.
drugs? Conservatives?
Yeah,
mean
yes,
a-
Republicans.
Pretty strong conservative bias there, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
And that was stupid of them to do that. Too.
That was fucking retarded.
Yep.
It was retarded. Let's say this man is injecting heroin into his arm. We're going to throw him in a cell with a rapist.
James, your audio is cutting in and out.
Oh, come on.
We heard.
Just don't move
we
back
heard
and forth.
heroin
Yes,
rapist.
just sit
It's
still.
supposed
like
to be going
recording
through
an audiobook. Just sit very still.
If I'm recording an audiobook, I'm using something other than this gaming headset.
Gay as in gay, A-Y-M-I-N-G. Yeah. Gaming.
If it's not going through all.
Yeah, the mic is bad.
Anyways, heroin rapist murderer thing going on.
Yeah. What was that about, James?
I think
It's-
might be talking about Biden's son Hunter.
Not quite. But no, the idea that we were going to throw this guy's injecting heroin to his arm, so now we're going to throw him in a cell with a rapist.
Mm-hmm.
That was guys
Hmm.
being retarded because they wanted to do that. Well, hard times create strong men, and strong men create weak times. And blah, 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 stupid shit, chest thumping inroads with no regard to the potential repercussions, no regard for what might happen later down the line. Same with the Patriot Act. I grew up in the aftermath of 9/11, and I grew up with every man above the age of 20 that I knew. Every beer belly thing, the barrel chested, thumping, salt of the earth, working class man going, yeah, we gotta pass this Patriot Act. We gotta spy on it. We gotta go with the Fourth Amendment.
The worst thing we ever did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
It's
trying
what
to
you're
find out when it was
saying-
made illegal.
So what
It's-
you're saying is most
it's
dumb
not the
shit was
19th.
voted in by men.
It's not the 19th.
Well, conservatives of the far left and the far and it's the religious right that does a lot of this really really dumb shit. Because they cannot separate their religious beliefs from the proper role of government, which has nothing to do with enforcing religious morality or anything like that, but just strictly protecting individual rights, which ultimately come down to property rights.
Mm-hmm.
Your right to your life, basically your body's your property. Anything that's not directly related to or required for protecting property rights is not an appropriate thing for government to do. If you want to put drugs in your body, it's
Go
your
ahead.
body. You should be able to make drugs. You should be able to sell drugs. You should be able to use drugs. Any adult should be able to do anything they want with any other adult if they both consent to it. Use things, sell things, buy things, whatever the fuck. And with the Patriot Act, you should have a certain expectation to privacy in your property, including your home, to not be surveilled and all of this stuff. The government has no business doing half of it, not half, there's maybe a tiny fraction of a percent of what the government does that it actually should be doing.
The Patriot Act was
Zero.
was not legitimate, and you hit the nail on the head. But it's not. I would say it's not just the religious right. It's trad cons in general are more focused on their values, which very often overlap with whatever. But they're focused on their values rather than the rights delineated in the Constitution, and that's where the real problem comes from, because when this shit happens. Like I was there, I was there for 2001. I was 33 something, whatever. And, I had kids, and I was the only person in our family. Well, not the only person, but just about the only person in our family, in our circle, who was talking about what a bad thing this was. And everybody else was equating the Patriot Act with being against what happened in New York, which was stupid. But so if you were not in favor of the Patriot Act, then you somehow didn't care that, all those dudes drove planes into buildings. And that was the false equivocation that the tradcons, did in their heads to make them all support this bullshit. And now the infrastructure is there. And once the infrastructure is there, it doesn't go away.
They will never give up power once they get it. And this is why you never allow the government to give itself any more powers. No matter what they say that it's for,
correct.
If there is a potential for misuse, it's not a question of whether they're going to misuse it. It's just a matter of when and how badly.
Yeah.
We never should have allowed the government to get as big as it is now. And the only way that people are going to have the kind of lives that people really ought to have is if the whole thing gets torn down to just a tiny, tiny fraction of what it is, and they'll never willingly give that up.
Oh,
it's
no.
It's going to take some sort of massive, I don't want to say revolution or a war or anything like that, but a whole lot of bad people are going to have to die. And a whole lot of stupid people are probably going to have to die along with them to get rid of all of the problems that we have with our government and with the kind of people that support the increasingly authoritarian government.
Well, yeah.
I don't think it'll happen.
But that pushback is not going to happen either. That's the problem. The only thing that, to me,
It's gonna get worse.
The only thing that will change it is a moderately sized comet that doesn't wipe out all life on Earth, but it makes life, it reduces maybe the population by half, but it makes centralized government impossible for 100 years. And then we're going to have a whole other set of problems. But I don't see. The best I think that we hope for is that the
coronal mass ejection or
the states
EMP or something.
The one thing we have going for us, which becomes evident, has become evident in my lifetime anyway, every time something has come up, is that there are still a lot of states that know how to tell the central government to fuck off.
We need
more. So at the very least, we have a lot of states in the South, we have a lot of states in the West, and that may be the best we get. You know, it may get to where you've got states that are more closely aligned with the feds and states that are less closely aligned with the feds, and people are going to move to where they can live the life that they want to live. And this whole pandemic thing, I think, is one major step in that direction. And I think that'll happen more.
People are flooding Florida. We have a lot of people, and hopefully when they come down here, they don't vote like idiots. But I'm actually pretty thrilled because I found out recently that Florida is solidly red now. And there probably is not going to be much chance for Democrats to win in most counties here, much less the state ever, which I think is great. And a lot of people are coming here because they're sick of the shit in other states. And I love it because it means we are depriving the worst places of tax revenue. But of course, then they're only going to try to get more from the federal government. But
yeah, I second that. I spent a lot of time in Florida the last year because my son's lived down there for a few years now, and my girlfriend just moved down there. And one of them's on the Atlantic side, one of them's on the Gulf. And so I spent a lot of time kind of going back and forth from coast to coast in Florida. And aside from here, South Alabama, where nobody ever gave a shit about this stuff anyway, I've had a great time in Florida this last year because every place where I've gone, it was wide open. Hardly anybody was wearing masks. Nobody was putting up with that bullshit. And now, granted,
you almost never see it. If I see somebody wearing a mask, I usually laugh at them.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they're a really, really old person.
That's what I was about to say. I've seen a lot of older people, and I've seen some, slightly younger women doing it, but it's usually, my age and up.
Yeah,
my age and up, and I'm
people,
55.
a young
so-
girl,
It's
Yeah.
usually
a mother
some
with her
dork
kids.
that looks like he's got low T,
yeah.
and yeah, it's just.
Because
His girlfriend-
I've been on both coasts, and the coasts are loaded with beach bars and shit on the water, and like nobody's gonna go there and wear a fucking mask. Everybody's having a good time and
You're not
partying.
wearing a fucking mask on the
Nobody-
fucking beach.
Nobody is wearing a mask on the beach unless they're an absolute moron.
Right.
And all these fucking people, they still don't seem to get it. These masks, the masks that they're wearing. First off, if you don't just put the shit on. There's a process. Putting the masks on, taking the masks off, not touching your face, not fucking with all the stuff. They don't do anything the way that most people are using them. It doesn't fucking do it. It's security theater. It's all just security theater.
But I was
on a lot of boxes of mask. It says right there on it, does not prevent transmission. They're basically just to reduce breathing in particles of dust.
Well, the interesting thing about masks and lockdowns is, especially if you read Matthew Singer's book, which I suggest you all do, the concept and the idea of lockdown never existed ever as far as public health policy existed.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new term, and it was basically invented by the Chinese,
Mm-hmm.
the CCP.
Hmm.
They were pushing
Big
this.
surprise.
Yeah.
If you, I'm reading this book. I'm about 3/4 of the way through.
Post the link. I'll get it.
I'll throw. It's difficult to find his book on Amazon because they're shadow banning it. Big surprise.
Mm-hmm.
I've checked his references. He's spot on. I believe he's a lawyer here in the States. He does follow Masculine Geek.
You know what I found so weird about all the mask things? So the masks were mandatory in the Netherlands for about, 6 months? Yeah, for 6 months. All of a sudden, we get the press conference where our prime minister says, well, we're going to have a mask mandate again this Saturday. Like 1 week beforehand, it was announced. And I was like, you know what? I'm probably going to see a lot of people not doing it or whatever. Friday, before the mandate goes in, everybody is without his mask. Everybody. As soon as Saturday hits, guess what happened? Everybody was wearing them. Everybody was wearing them again. I was the only one in the supermarket who wasn't wearing one. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
People need to stop complying.
But think a bit for yourself. It's not like that from one to another day, the virus is going to spread again more if you're not wearing a mask. It's like, oh, well, the government tells me to do this.
Well,
and
if anybody changed the definition of herd immunity, people getting the virus, developing antibodies from it naturally.
I mean, I had COVID. I'm just hard to kill, I guess.
Yeah,
like I'm
I had it. I had it
too. I had it too.
I'm not sure
we
if
are
I
now
had
a
it.
superior race, Nick.
I had something. I felt a little bit run down for a couple days, had a bit of a headache and whatnot, and then I felt fine. I don't know if that was it or not.
Yeah, that was it.
Because I didn't.
Yeah,
pay
that
any
was my
attention to
symptoms
it
as
because
well.
It was mild.
Although I did lose my sense of smell and sense of taste for about 5 to 8 days, and I had to go in and I was tested, and I tested positive for it. So
look,
yes, I had it, and I have not had. The thing is, it was like I felt for a couple of days like I was starting to get a cold or something, like I was having sinus issues, but nothing ever really came of it, and then I lost my smell and taste, and that was it. That was all the worse it was for me, despite not being, in a paragon of physical Charles Atlas health or anything else. And I still shrugged it off like it was nothing. And I wasn't even given any kinds of medications to even treat it. That was just my body naturally just shrugged it off. But they changed herd immunity to being the number of people, like 95, 98% of the population immunized with these therapeutics, which they call vaccines, and they're not actually vaccines.
I'm going to be very blunt and just say,
please do.
and just the Western world is fucked. I'm just gonna say it. I might sound black pill, but
Yeah,
other
it's always
than
been
a 1776 revolution, this shit ain't gonna change. So pick your spot in the world where you're still free and move there, because the West has fallen, people.
Well, they
Just say.
still, even from the beginning, though, they've said that it's what 99.8% chance
Hasn't
of surviving.
changed.
That's not
Has not
changed.
changed. No.
But
Well-
what was it? Just a month or two ago, they had taken a they had a poll, and it's like most people who are left leaning politically, it was like 40% of the people thought that if you get COVID, your chances of dying were like
Are way
40%
higher,
or something like that.
They did that in the Netherlands too.
Yeah.
It's like,
You
whoa.
see,
Chance
And
of
it's like the
needing to
people
go to
have
the
s-
hospital, it's slightly.
the
from
infection
that.
fatality rate is around 0.02%.
Mhm.
Now,
But in the Netherlands,
worldwide, what's happening is we're relying on the PCR test. The PCR test was funded by communist China. This is what's come to light. As far as like the PCR test that is for COVID.
Mhm.
Now, the PCR test was developed by a Nobel-winning chemist in 1996. I forget his name. And he says the PCR test is not to be used to diagnose or look for disease. It takes whatever you're looking for and amplifies it.
Mhm.
So if you set what it basically does, what you can basically do is manipulate the data to continually say, yes, we found it. The different cycles of the PCR test, based on how many cycles, you can find something. It doesn't mean it has no way, shape, or form indicative of whether or not you're in trouble, your body's in trouble. It just says there's something here. But
Yep.
it doesn't give you an indication of the degree and severity. It's
you know
just
what they did in the Netherlands?
They probably took that PCR test and amplified it.
Well, they scaled down hospitals and IC beds for years. So in a country of 17 million people, we only have about like 1,000 or 1,100 IC beds. And now that in a country, mind you, of 17 million people,
Now they'll say you're overwhelmed.
now they're saying we're overwhelmed and cold black, and all
Yeah,
the
it's
IC
all-
beds are
it's all
getting full.
bullshit.
And
It's bullshit.
even our Minister of Health went on the telly and said, "Well, there's an IC bed here that didn't have to be filled because you could have gotten the vaccine." And we were like, "What did you say?" Like
Yeah.
some people actually lost their shit because of that. Like, are we going to tell fat people now, like, you shouldn't have been in this bed if you just had lost weight, or somebody who smokes? You shouldn't.
Isn't? Oh, I might
They-
be thinking of Belgium's Belgium's health.
Yeah, that's the
She's the
Belgian
big
one.
Jabba-esque.
Yeah, that's Belgium.
She's which was just. I'm sorry, but like I said in that tweet that one day, health ministers should look like you, Drew.
Anybody who does
I'd be
not
afraid of them then.
exercise and
Right.
eat well and keep themselves in good shape has absolutely no business talking to anybody else, much less an entire country, about their health decisions. This fucking Belgian minister, whatever the fuck their title is, Minister of Health, is an absolute fucking slug. She is an enormous sack of shit. She doesn't look like she gives the slightest damn about her own health. Why should nobody should fucking listen to her? They should laugh. Who are the morons that appointed her? That's or
like
even-
I said before, the people. I'm just gonna say it flat out. I think every member of parliament should at least be able to bench 225. Since I am now able to do that, I can say that. It's like, hey, I practice what I preach, people. It's on camera.
At least their body weight, because you're going to have
225.
some people who are older. If you get,
Let me read this to you about PCR technology and the tests that they're using for COVID. PCR technology had been invented in 1983 by American biochemist Carrie Mullis to allow scientists to study tiny samples of DNA in detail. For this, he won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. At a panel discussion discussing PCR in 1993, Mullis stated very plainly that PCR should not be used for diagnosing illnesses. The man that created the fucking test. With PCR, if you do it well, you can find almost anything in anybody, meaning if you're looking for something hard enough, you'll find it. PCR is just a process that you use to make a whole lot of something out of something. It doesn't tell you that you're sick, and it doesn't tell you that the thing you ended up with was really going to hurt you or anything like that. Now, in a 1996 interview, Mullis had choice words for Anthony Fauci, then head of the U.S. response to AIDS. Mullis was especially critical of Fauci's use of PCR. These guys like Fauci get up and start talking, and he doesn't know anything about anything, and I would say that to his face. Nothing. The man thinks you can take a blood sample and stick it in an electron microscope, and if it's got a virus in there, you'll know it. He doesn't understand electron microscopy, and he doesn't understand medicine, and he should not be in a position like he's in. Most of these guys up there on the top are just total administrative people, and they don't know anything about what's going on with the body. They make up their own rules as they go. They change them when they want to, and they're smug. Like Tony Fauci does not mind going on television in front of people who pay his salary and lying directly into the camera.
And he has been caught lying.
And he's been doing it time and time again. I would love to hire a detective to follow that man and delve into his finances and find out how many wire transfers have come from China.
I'm sure somebody's doing that right now. At least
I fucking hope so.
I hope so.
You know, anybody who paid attention those first couple of months, you know, I came into this thing. I got it. I think I got it while I was on my Vegas trip in early 2020, because I got back the first week of January 2020, and then a day later I got really sick, and I was laid up for about a week and a half, and the symptoms lingered, and it was all the same shit. Couldn't smell, couldn't taste. You know, I was unusually winded, and all this other kind of stuff. And then I got better about the time it started coming out in the news, and I was like, holy shit, I bet that's what I had.
Right.
And if you remember back in February, March of that time, people were saying, don't wear masks. People were saying, don't do this. People were saying, don't do all the things that they're saying to do now. So just that, the easy way everybody flipped the script ought to be a red flag to people that there are lies going on. In addition to that, there's still no definitive evidence what this shit really is, where it came from, what the transmission really is. Everybody's just guessing, because I think it's such a variant of just common flu that you can't really be that definitive in tracking it and detecting it.
Exactly.
And even if somebody does know what it is, they're not saying. So we don't really have any definitive evidence of anything. And yet we've made all these rules about how this thing is supposed to be administered and managed based on guesses.
Well,
and
definitely get this book.
Fuck
I'll read this one last paragraph to you that I laughed out loud.
I mean, I wouldn't even. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Go finish your thought.
I was just going to say that I wouldn't even wear a mask. So what makes anybody think I'm going to take a fucking shot of any unproven bullshit? Anyway.
Exactly. Every step of the way, the international synchronization of lockdown mandates gave a cosmopolitan veneer to policies that were inherently unscientific, unprecedented, ineffective, totalitarian, brutal, and dumb. Elites saw other countries doing them and thought they must be sound. For over a year, the world watched educated professionals pretend not to know the basics of how respiratory viruses and vaccines worked. But most frightening of all was not so much the rampant groupthink, gullibility, scientism, and directed reasoning. It was that despite all the horror stories and studies of the catastrophic harms caused by lockdowns, most professionals simply couldn't be bothered to consider them a very big deal. We have been. This has, and I've said this before. I said this almost 2 years ago in the Masculine Geek newsletter. This is the biggest international con job that's ever been perpetrated. And on top of that, this is what will the American people take up the ass?
Okay, can I just say that this might be a con job or whatever it is, but people allow it to. Like,
absolutely. I'm not. The fear that's been instilled in people.
Yeah, it's
I
insane.
agree
But
with you. Yeah.
not only that, but I mean, right now, in all honesty, right now, if you, at least for people in the Netherlands, if you are still thinking this is about public fucking health,
It's not.
you're an absolute fucking moron.
Yeah, you're a dork.
And you're allowing your freedoms to be taken away. And why? Because of safety. Funnily enough, by the way, I was talking to my brother of all people about this yesterday. And he has been to the States, Las Vegas. And he said, well, America is nice and all that, but in some cases, we truly have it better. I'm like, healthcare wise, you mean, don't you? He's like, yeah, healthcare wise, things like that. Like, if you get ill, they'll let you die on the streets. I'm like, yeah. And then he mentioned retirement. I'm like, well, the retirement thing is you have your entire life to save for that. Like, isn't that a bit personal responsibility? He's like, yeah, that's true. But like, there will be a case every now and then where something might happen and you have to use all your retirement money or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but that's rare. So, but we kind of went back and forth with that. But now you get this thing where it starts with retirement, then you get health care out of the government, and now it's your protection. You don't have to do anything anymore. Just lay back. We'll take care of you. Here's
Back
your
and let it
Netflix.
happen.
Lay back and enjoy it. That's right.
Back and enjoy, you dirty
Here's
whore.
your belly rub. Have your vaccine. Everything's going to be okay.
I suspect there is a very strong possibility when we're looking back on this historically, what this is going to be is going to be seen and probably known as an escalation of economic war by China.
Never let a good crisis go to waste. Winston Churchill.
No, you're right, Nick. That's what this book is all pointing to. Yeah,
that's what I would venture. I can't prove that, but I think that's a very real possibility of us looking back and not just theorizing, but knowing it. And
well, they were pushing out these propaganda videos, which
but
they
do you
actually
guys think
blocked.
we're going to
They
go
blocked.
back to normal? I don't think that will happen. No.
Not for a while. Not in most places. It might happen in a couple places around here, but there's going to be so much butting heads between the federal government and all the states that are going to be
2024 is going to be very interesting.
well, I mean, I can tell you that where I live, obviously, it's a very specific place. For me, normal is still normal for me. Now, yeah, I've had to go places where everybody was wearing masks, but myself, I've gone, we've had businesses that have shut down. We've had restaurants and bars that are back, but they have to close several days a week, or sometimes they have to close early because they don't have enough employees, and their revenue is not what it was before all this happened. So I recognize all that, but as far as me and my lifestyle, the only thing that's changed for me is what other people have done. And
well, the normalcy is not going to be our daily life. That'll get back to a semblance. The non-normalcy will be the ability of the federal government to do this again very quickly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the non-normalcy that's now before us.
Well, it's like Jack said, he pointed out in his country, all they had to do was say, hey, starting Saturday, wear your masks, and everybody put their masks on.
Everybody did, and everybody looks at you like you're a fucking weirdo if you don't. Even though, like me, healthy guy, 10% or less body fat percentage, well-trained guy. Yeah, and they look at me like I'm some weirdo. Like, I take care of my health, kind of thing. No. You're a part of the problem, kind of thing. It's like, wait, you have
now you are the weirdo.
but you're 20 pounds overweight. Yeah, but at least I'm wearing my mask.
This is the fucking crazy thing. So we know that the vast majority of people are barely going to be affected by it. If they are, it's minor shit, like they feel a little run down for a few days. Maybe they get a headache. Maybe they lose their sense of smell or taste for a little bit. But most people are barely affected by it. The people who are affected by it are the ones who have shit health to begin with.
Yeah, but there's a comorbidity.
But the problem is, Drew, the majority have shit health.
The average number of comorbidities of the people who have actually died from it is something like 2.9. So people, to actually die from this, you have to have absolute shit health. This is not a problem for healthy people. But how many people since March, April 2020 have started working out, have started eating better? How many of these people have just gotten fatter? How many fat people have done absolutely nothing to improve their health this entire time? Oh, wear a mask to protect me. Well, stop fucking shoveling food in your face. Do something to protect yourself.
Fucking weights. Go for a walk.
If they were really so afraid of this, why did they not do everything they possibly could to get themselves in better physical condition?
Stronger. Yeah.
Because it's easier to comply.
Well, it's easier to believe you can take
was going to lose in the next 2 weeks.
I mean,
you guys are circling back and torpedoing your own argument. Like, well, it only works on people who are not healthy. Well, the majority of people in the U.S. are not healthy. And the majority of the people in the U.S. are aging. The point is, stop pointing the fucking gun at me.
Yeah.
That's where you start. That's where the conversation ends. It's not mass, which none of you know anything about, and I know very little about, frankly. This is not me throwing stones in glass houses. I know a little bit about it because I know a little bit about fluid dynamics. And that's it. It's just water droplets against a barrier, much like a car going against. It doesn't matter if it has gas in it. If the car is going at a barrier with gas in it at an angle, it's probably going to get stopped. And the point is to produce a transmission. Right,
Vince, what are you doing?
It's a lot like your semen straining against the condom.
But the point is,
I'm making you
don't point the gun at me.
Stop
Which is happening right now.
Exactly.
Well,
That's
I
what
like
you should
what
be focusing on. Don't focus on because everybody, if you bring it into the stupid weedy shit about, oh well, it's this number of people actually died, and this number of people had comorbidities, and this number of people had XYZ. None of that matters at all.
Not to them.
All. Because then they're going to look at you and say, well, do I even bother? The first question on their mind is, do I even bother looking into whether or not this person says is correct? Because there are a billion of you out there who are going to say the exact same thing. And the question is like, well, do I stop my day every day to check to see whether or not this person is speaking accurately?
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I mute those people on Twitter. The point is, stop pointing the gun at me.
Which is happening right now.
That's where you guys need to be focused. That's where you conservatives keep getting screwed about.
You're right. I mean, conservatives are pussies.
Ultimately, this needs to be up to every individual to take what actions they think are necessary to protect themselves based on their assessments of the risk. And the government should not be able to tell anybody what to do.
But the government is here to help, Drew. Let us help you. We are your friend.
The government wants to help themselves and the people who are donating to politicians' re-election campaigns.
Don't you want grandma to live?
Well, as James put it, and he's right. The problem is that the government is a gun. It's been pointing at us for a very long time, and we're allowing it to right now. And that's the real issue, because what's the job description of a citizen? It's to take care of yourself. It's to leave other people and their property alone, it's to tell the government fuck off. It's to tell the government no.
As long as we are not hurting other innocent people or taking their stuff, the government should never have anything to do with our lives. Nothing. That's the problem. Is the government a proper government? The only reason to have a government is to codify laws to protect individual rights, so that when there is some sort of an issue, it's done in an objective and a fair manner, instead of having mob rule. It's all about protecting individual rights. The government is not there to provide for you, to shelter you, to give you food, to do any of the other. It's not. All it is a referee. Hey, that doesn't belong to you, so we're going to take it back and we're going to give it to this person. We're going to punish you for violating this person's rights, so that we have some sort of a deterrent. That's it. That's the only reason to have any government at all, is the protection of individual rights. Everything else ought to be left to the individual and to private organizations. Zero fucking government interference into anything. They're a referee, not a parent. But so many people have this idea that the government is supposed to, it's immature. It's a juvenile mentality, that they need government to take care of them like some sort of second parent. No.
Yep.
No, it's a referee, and that's it. If you want anything else, fucking work for it, earn it yourself. If you are one of the very unfortunate people that maybe, you literally can't, and you're not just a lazy piece of shit, there are enough people who are concerned with the well-being of other people that they put together charities to help people. You don't need government to do it. Government can't do it as effectively as private charities anyways.
Well,
it's we could go on and on, but there's really the government shouldn't even be involved in this, much less be able to tell anybody what the fuck to do. And this has come up before. I've had all these people say, oh, well, you should do this, you should do that. I say, listen, you have a right to wear a mask or any other protective equipment that you feel necessary, but you have no right to force anybody else to. If you're not comfortable being within some distance of people, you have the right to avoid places where people gather. You don't have a right to tell other people that they can't gather, or tell businesses that they can't let more than some number of people in. If you're so afraid that you want to stay home, you stay home. You don't get to make that choice for anybody else. Nobody else. You don't get to fucking tell the rest of us how to live. And there's none of the elected officials get to tell us how the fuck to live either. The only thing, you don't hurt innocent people. You don't take other people's stuff. And the government should have laws that, protect those rights, punish people who break them, and nothing else. Not another goddamn thing. Everything else should be left to private citizens and privately owned businesses.
What government has ever done that in the history of governments?
None.
It has always been there to provide whatever for other people, play favorites, whatever it is. It's never been a referee. In the history of the human existence.
It should be. The
juvenile idea is that it ever will be, when you have the entirety of the human experience on one side saying it will never be like this.
It's not realistic.
Some other direction.
No,
because most people are irrational.
You're correct, James, and both in Drew, but
wasn't America like that in the first couple of years?
Hang on a second. America, when America, for the first 10 minutes after 1776, for the first 10 minutes, it was ideal. We are probably the only country that deals with the sovereignty of the individual as far as personal liberty, and as far as, like, I'll go so far as to say God-given rights. There are very few other countries that recognize that. They're not. James is correct. In the history of government, this has not existed. It existed for about 10 minutes after the signing of the Declaration of Independence. About 10 minutes. But the key factor here is what always overrides all of this. Good intentions, bad intentions, this, that. Human fucking nature.
Corrupt
don't forget
politicians and lazy people.
Don't forget that the we were barely out of the war with England, the first war with England, when the Whiskey Rebellion occurred, because and that was led by George Washington, who and that was the government excising a high tax on whiskey, and the people got together and said, "Fuck you, you're not going to do that." And
it's like the Stamp Act.
And George Washington and the army wiped him out, and won. So
the Constitution was literally a state conspiracy to give the state more power and centralize it across the 13 colonies at the time.
Right, and that was
its
Washington.
literal express specific purpose, and they could not get it in without making concessions in name only.
And
to
that
certain rights. It's a gun-free sign for conservatives. It does nothing. It has preserved nothing.
True.
I have no right to privacy. I have no right to firearms. I have no right to free speech. None of these have survived over the past 250 years.
Well, you have the right. It's just whether the government acknowledges it or not.
Well, that's it. We are.
So they can kill me over it, so I don't.
Initially,
they can violate the right.
Yeah, initially we had those rights. Initially,
well, government is not the source of rights. Government can only choose to protect or violate.
That's it. That's what our Constitution and Bill of Rights is designed to. The idea hang on. The idea is the state doesn't confer the rights to you.
Mm-hmm.
They're already granted to you by the fact that you're a fucking human being.
Right.
That's the idea that has come out of the United States.
But I have the right to an abortion.
Well, when you get pregnant as much as you do, Jack, I mean, you have to.
I mean, I am getting so sick and tired of that argument. It's happening in the Netherlands as well. And they write on their stomach, and I'll translate it for you in a minute. They write on their stomach, baas in eigen buik, which translates to, I am the boss of my own belly. And I'm kind of like, yeah, but you're the boss of your own legs too. Like, there's something that needs to happen.
I've got to crash. I got to be up early. But
yeah, we gotta wrap this up soon.
I gotta run. Take it easy, guys.
See you next Wednesday. Yeah.
For every chick that has that written on her belly, you should just toss her a kitchen knife and a roll of thread.
Yeah.
And a needle.
I mean, they always go for the rape argument.
Coat hanger.
They always go for the rape argument. And I'm like, of all abortions, less than 1% is because of rape. I mean,
before we
finally acknowledge this, nope, because then you're a woman hater and whatever. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, I'm trying to help you here, woman.
Well, before we shut this glitter party down, I just wanted to shout out to my man Mask here in the comments, who's been throwing some alpha here all along, and he points out one important thing, that they're trying to make voting mail-only ballots for 2024 because, as we all know, once we get there, then we're never going to be able to validate. We're never going to be able to validate elections again. And to me, I think pandemics, all this other stuff. This is going to be the test whether the people finally draw the line or not.
I will be very honest. I truly believe that the United States will forever be, from now on, a democratic ruled country. I'm just saying. Ever since Trump lost, I knew it. I knew Trump would lose. And I was like, I didn't want to believe it, but I knew it. And I was like, as soon as he loses, America is lost. Trump was the last bastion you guys had. He wasn't the greatest. Absolutely not. But he was the last one you had.
Well,
now you're fucked.
It's very possible.
Don't smile when you say that. Jesus.
It's very possible.
I love the chaos. I have embraced it. I was born in it.
All right, here's the thing. It's very possible, and maybe it's probable, and maybe it's inevitable. I don't know, but I will say this. For as long as I've been alive, every couple of elections, when there was some kind of landslide and there was some kind of gerrymandering and there was some kind of illegal immigrant surge, and people have been saying that every 5 to 10 years ever since I've been voting. And I'm not saying that this is not the time where that actually comes true. All I'm saying is it always looks like that for a while, and then something changes that nobody anticipated, and it swings back the other way. And I hope Jack's not right. He may very well be. And everybody else who's saying that may be right, and it's not an unreasonable position to have. But I'd also point out that that's been said before with a lot of conviction, and that's not the way it turned out, because the worm always turns.
Voter ID. I really don't understand why you guys don't have voter ID.
Some states do.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
Let me guess, the red ones.
Pretty much.
I thought so. What a surprise.
And
what
even
a surprise.
there are, ACLU and, other people try to fight against that because, that's...
In Alabama, there are counties...
prove your identity when you vote.
There are counties in Alabama that historically haven't had to have voter ID because they were classified as some sort of, kind of racial hotbed, and having voter ID was presented as some sort of way of preventing blacks from being able to vote. And and so there's, the way the United States is, there are all kinds of different laws depending on the state and even the county that can affect what the standards for voting are. But we've had that down here. Now in my county, the counties I've always lived in, it's always been, you have to show some kind of ID to get your ballot and get checked off a list and be registered in the right place and all that. But there are some counties where they said, the implication there was essentially that, and this was from the Democrats, mind you, and the ACLU and that whole side of the spectrum, but their position, not in so many words, but the implication was, well, the black people in this area aren't capable of getting an ID and registering to vote in the right place.
What did Biden say? So, they don't know how to get online, to get in line.
It's essentially that kind of attitude, and that's some bullshit, But that's how the left has used racial politics over the years to try to keep every advantage for themselves that they can get, and it's been working for them. So. It may be true that we, it's a long time or never before we have anybody but a Democrat. But I still think, just because I'm an old fuck and I've seen things swing back from one side to another, fuck you, motherfucker. That it's really possible that there's going to be shit that will change that nobody can foresee, but it's going to cause the pendulum to swing in the other direction. So. Maybe we'll have that, or maybe we'll have war eventually. Who knows?
In all honesty, and I talked to Rob about this too, because I am, before all you guys jump on me, because I'm going to say something very controversial now. Okay, promise me that.
You're not that good looking.
Yeah, no, you're not that cute.
After like podcasting for 2 to 3 years with Americans, I have noticed you guys really are proud of your freedoms and things like that. And as soon as the government overreaches itself, you guys tend to jump on the whole "we're going to have a war" thing, kind of like that. Mates, if you guys were going to have a war, you are about 10 years too late. No one in your entire country will actually grab the guns and fight the government. Most of you guys have pussed out. Stop believing in this whole "we're going to have 70-76 again," because if it would have happened, it would have already happened.
Well, it did happen. It did happen. It happened in 1861 to 1865, and the federal government won. And that's a big problem. That's a big problem because we had that war. It was complicated. Our side lost.
She needed space. It was
no. The Southern Democrats should have picked their own cotton. We wouldn't be in this mess.
We probably would be anyway, because they still would have fought us. Lincoln was a tyrant, so he still would have fought us, and we still would have lost. But you're right. We should have just, we should have just
picked our own cotton.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's 200 years ago, more than 200 years ago. Right now, I was talking to Watson about this as well. The only way all these draconian measurements are going to go away if the people, all of them, actually rise up. But what are we seeing? What are we seeing? A majority wants this crap. Free individual thinking people are the minority. We are fucked. Clary was right. Curse of the high IQ. Enjoy the decline. I hate to sound black pill, but if I don't see a landslide for Republicans in 2024, or if I don't see a landslide for the right in the Netherlands in whenever we're going to have elections again, I ain't buying it. I ain't buying it that a majority of the people want their freedoms. They don't.
Well, they don't. You're absolutely right. They don't. But here's another thing to keep in mind, which may or may not be relevant anymore due to the population size. But the majority of the colonies didn't want their independence from England either. And a majority did not fight for that. So, it doesn't necessarily take a majority. It just takes a motivated minority with allies and luck.
I mean, the majority of women didn't want to vote either, did they? Something like that.
The majority of women still don't understand how beneficial blowjobs are to their mental and physical health. So you can't rely on women.
I was seriously yesterday.
Don't rely on women for anything that's involved.
I mean, yesterday I was so shocked and appalled about something I heard, but I'm gonna leave that. Otherwise, we're gonna start beef again somewhere, and I don't want that.
Hey, she looked like a woman to me. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, you could always bring it up on Friday night.
But Nick, did you take her out on a date? Because for women, all sex is transactional. For all women don't go for a guy they just find hot. They want something in exchange for it. True alpha male told me that.
Yeah. Well, I bought her a tank full of gas. I bought her a tank full of gas and some breath
lozenges. Damn it.
I gave her some breath mints.
So, yeah.
In all honesty, though, I used to tell the nameplate that, like, after she gave me a blowjob, I was like, "Go brush your teeth."
Go brush your teeth, bitch.
Hey, true story. So my girlfriend was up here visiting me for Thanksgiving week.
What's his name?
Huh?
What's his name?
Vince.
Oh,
and
God damn it, I told you.
And after her oral services were complete, I said, "Come here, dick breath."
Dick breath.
Oh, she just laughed. She's used to it. She's used to it now. She just laughed. She thinks it's funny, or she pretends to.
It's almost as funny as Jack's monkey.
His bondage monkey.
Bondage monkey. See, you guys tie him up and the shape. See?
Do I still sound like that?
No.
Man, when I had the palatal expander in, that's actually how I sounded.
Wait. Back that up. You had a what?
I had a palate expander.
All right, there's some jokes there, but we'll leave them alone for now.
There are a lot of jokes.
There's a lot of jokes in there.
Like I'm sitting here.
Jack's palate expander.
Palate expander, because of my my back teeth were a bit. They were. How do you say that?
They were rubbing him raw.
No, it's like my jaw was like this. It was going inward. But they had
the jokes write themselves.
I know.
Best not to talk about this further.
Oh, Jesus.
I wasn't able to narrate.
Oh, I'm gonna get that screenshot too. Somebody screenshot that shit.
By the way, Vince, you still need that BDSM book narrated?
I do. It'll probably be
done.
It's about halfway done.
Halfway, seriously.
But can you do a female voice?
I can try.
Only if you pay him enough.
Let's hear
Only
it.
if you pay me enough.
Let's hear it.
Oh my! By the way, can I just say this?
Yeah, squeeze your nuts for that one.
No. Cappy made that video. Like, guys, if you need a narrator, go for Jack. He may not be the best, but at least he does the work. I get an email from a guy. It was like, "Oh, I saw Cappy's video and blah, blah, blah. Could you narrate? Blah, blah, blah. What are your prices?" I'm like, "Well, I usually charge this, blah, 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 blah. But if you can send me a test copy, I can give you the actual number." Oh, well, that is a bit of a lot. Like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, "Just send me a test copy and I'll give you the round number."
Yeah.
Nothing. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. This is why my rates are so high.
And they should be, yeah.
Well, I mean, I have heard about the competition out there. After the palate expand. No, then I sound like Kelly from South Park. Geez, guys.
Jesus, guys.
Gonna listen to my
You sound-
Britney
you
Spears
sound,
record.
you sound like Sid from Ice Age, the sloth.
Tempest is killing it. Yeah.
He is. A
I'm
lot of
gonna
guys in
listen
the
to my
chat are pretty
Britney
funny.
Spears records.
There's also
well-
there's a character from the '80s that used to talk that way too. I can't remember who it was now, but I remember
I know
that.
who you're talking about. Yeah.
All of you cannot deny the truth.
The truth
The
hurts.
truth is out there.
The truth hurts.
We will be having a joint Jack Napier and Masculine Geek Saturday afternoon thing soon.
Soon.
A geek talk. So
Probably
Geek Fest.
Saturday.
it'll be a geek fest. We'll be talking about all kinds of things, women, geek shit, all kinds of good stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that was so funny because of the COVID restrictions in the Netherlands. So Watson isn't allowed in any essential stores, non-essential stores anymore soon. And he kind of went MGTOW after the 30 by 30. He was like, I am so done with this shit. I have better things to do. He works in a guitar repair shop and things like that. So he's actually
cool.
he's the actual thing MGTOWs want to be, but aren't. He's actually that. So
Yeah.
yesterday we were walking past the
Yeah.
toy store. He saw that Porsche in that was on sale, and he was like, "Fuck all this shit, man. The world is going down. I'm buying that thing." And I was like, "That really is the state of mind you want to be in. Fuck it all. Enjoy the decline. I'm gonna enjoy myself."
Absolutely.
An XL Balladoor extender in there. Jesus Christ, Marty.
Marty's brutal.
Well, your mom does take a lot of work, so yeah.
Wow. He went there.
Oh, nice.
Well, mom jokes. We need to bring those back.
Yeah, true.
We need to bring.
I
your mom
always
jokes.
love it when somebody pulls a your mom on me and I'm like, I haven't talked to my mom in 10 years, and they get completely shocked. And they start, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and I just laugh.
Right.
I enjoy
All right,
it.
it's getting so late. I got to drink my warm milk and go to
Well,
bed.
Yeah, it's getting so late. Even his monkeys crashed. Look at that. Jack's monkey's
Yes,
taking
indeed.
a nap.
Yes, indeed. All right, everyone. It's been a absolute joy having you all here tonight.
Absolute joy.
And actually,
Absolute joy.
absolute.
Remember,
fucking
kids,
joy.
9/11 was an inside job.
It was. All right. I lost my.
But
train of thought.
7-Eleven was a part-time job.
That's true, and it usually is because they pay shit.
All right.
All
And
right.
behind the 7-Eleven is Cappy's job.
Well, Vince, do you want me to take us out?
Well, in a moment. Hang on a second. Everyone, let's do some housekeeping. Robert, where can everyone find you?
Robert Kuzlin, Instagram, Twitter, and with the Masculine Geek.
That's right. Robert is now an official Masculine Geek. Nick, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Twitter at the Nick August. You can find me at nickaugust.xyz. You can find me at punchriot.com. You can find me at cryptostartingline.com, which is the home base of the basic cryptocurrency course that I teach.
That's a
and
good course,
then
by the way. I purchased the course. It's solid. If you're
Vince sat through it.
I did sit through it, and if you are looking for a really good intro, if you know nothing about crypto, even if you know a little bit, it behooves you to take this course. It's good.
Yeah, they say in most things the hardest jump is going from 0 to 1, and then going from 1 to 100 is a lot easier. So what I do with this class is take people from 0 to 1 and give you an entire layout of what all crypto is, what's out there, what opportunities they are, and how to navigate it safely and securely. So if you go on to do more serious investing, you've got all the fundamentals down. So that's what I do there. And
Cool. It's
co-
worth it. Worth it.
coming up Monday night, check out my Monday night podcast, which is called the Boomer Crypto Jazz Hour. And our special guest will be none other than Vince himself.
I will be there. I'll be talking about my adventures in my own personal crypto. I will disclose certain things. Yes.
I'm
We'll
so
be-
sad I lost everything in that boating accident.
No, you didn't. Shut up.
Me too.
That's where
Boating
all my guns and
accident.
ammo.
I have a boat.
There
I
you
have
go.
multiple
You
boats.
had a boat.
Oh, I still have them.
Yeah.
A couple of them.
Well, the accident got rid of some stuff. So
Yeah, that is true.
that is true. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate all the interaction in the chat.
My links are in the chat. My narrations.
Jesus Christ, this guy. So yeah, go. Jack's narration is excellent. He will eventually be narrating an audiobook for me.
When
So
Vince gets it done, when Vince gets off his ass.
Well, I have like 5 books that are coming out in 2022. So
7 years ago.
7 years ago. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I am slightly. This gin and tonic is working. All right, so and I really have to take a piss.
You ain't
So
slightly.
on that note, we're gonna take this.
Remember
out.
to smash the like button and
Hey, there it
subscribe
is.
if you haven't.
And Jack, take us out.
Yeah, see? Subscribe, see?